amped, John. I'm so amped. I'm so amped. I don't even need my coffee this week. I'm so amped because, man, I gotta tell you, we have a hell of a podcast.
Yeah.
There are so many things. There are too many things. There are just too many goddamn things that happened.
A lot happened.
And also, my birthday happened. That happened as well on Tuesday.
Happy birthday!
Yay.
Since I didn't tell you on your actual birthday.
Yeah, it's fine. I was really busy. You know, okay, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rage Select Podcast. You're at Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Last week, my sister got married.
Yeah.
I had to get like a suit.
Yeah.
My parents were in town.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday happened.
Yeah.
Nintendo Labo came out.
Fuck
yeah. And then everybody decided that they were going to talk about, there's a million Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Last weekend was also Star Wars Celebration. So, like, every fucking Star Wars thing you could ever possibly want to know about was talked about and ad nauseum and revealed to the world. And, and then fucking this Wednesday, Microsoft makes a bunch of announcements. Nintendo makes some announcements. Sony's got an announcement. Everybody's got an announcement.
Everybody's got an announcement. I'm announcing right now that the Rage Select Podcast is awesome. That's my big announcement for the week.
I'd say with me being here, that's accurate.
It's double awesome because we got John this week. See, I had my birthday. It was real low key. I basically went out to dinner with my parents, argued politics with my dad for a while, and then came home and built Labo until 6 o'clock in the morning.
I saw on the Discord. Yeah,
I mean, I was just sitting here, and it's hard to like do anything else while you're building Labos. So it was basically just me sitting here like a beer in one hand, cardboard in the other, just putting together all the stuff. And then, of course, we recorded the video, and that turned into a total debacle nightmare, which I needed like additional time to edit. After you and I get done, I'm going to spend 6 hours editing our video.
I know.
So yeah, it's been busy, and not just that, because like for a week that didn't have a lot of what I would call like big releases, like a lot of shit just kind of dribbled out really quickly. The Joker is in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Katana Zero, which
came out. In addition to Joker coming out in Smash Brothers, there was the free update that also happened for Smash Brothers.
Stage Builder,
and all that other stuff.
Yeah. It's been a week. I can't. Anyway.
Jeff's birthday is now the busiest week in news for video game news.
Oh, yeah. I also had to file an extension on my taxes because, like, in the middle of all of this, I was like, well, when can I do a fundraiser between my sister getting married and my birthday and Mortal Kombat 11? But we are going to be having a fundraiser pretty soon because I do have motherfucking taxes to pay. I just can't pay them until later this year. So watch out for that on the horizon. And if you haven't done it, 3 hours ago before we started this, I posted a crazy new video. I don't normally do this, but I'm kind of trying to make like a more of a YouTube friendly video. It's a compilation of our puppet intros with some different few little edits and stuff. They're so easy for me to do because of the way that I do my video stuff that if you like it, this is the only time, well, not the only time. I say it at the end. I say it like every YouTuber does, but I actually mean it this week. That if you could go hit the like button, if you could like share it to people, like if that video does well, I can put one out every couple of weeks when we have enough intros to put together.
Yeah.
And they're super, super easy for me to do. So well, enough about me, John. What have you been doing the last week? Anything to report?
Nothing really. Mostly, I just downloaded and started playing a Switch game called The Friends of Ringo Ikishawa.
Is it Ringo?
It's Ringo.
Ringo? Okay.
Yeah, Ringo Ishikawa.
It's kind of like a River City Ransom type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's very much like River City Ransom. Like, what was it? One reviewer that I was reading about it referred to it as it's River City Ransom meets Persona meets fucking Stardew Valley, and it's just like
right on.
I was like, you know what? I haven't played all three of those games I've never played, so why not I give this a try? It's a lot of fun. Okay. It's also like I've seen a lot of people call it like a 2D Shenmue.
Oh, okay, I can see that tee. I mean, that's kind of what River City Ransom was, right?
Yeah,
it
is very much closer to River City Ransom than anything else. I mean, while I haven't actually sat down and played River City Ransom, I know what it is.
I love me some River City Ransom, so I might have to check that out. But we don't have time to tarry anymore. We got to talk about Star Wars.
Oh, shit.
We got like 20 minutes worth of Star Wars to talk about.
Oh, shit.
Because so a new Star Wars trailer dropped, and we'll get into that in just a second. Can I just say that I feel like I have a few issues with this, but it was really nice. I was thinking today about how with Solo I liked Solo, but it's released
Never saw it.
kind of a wet fart, like not a lot of people. I mean, Star Wars fans that I know didn't bother watching it.
Yeah.
And then
and it wasn't, I want to stress, it wasn't I'm not going to go see this movie kind of thing. It was literally, it came out at a time where
you just had other shit to do.
We just couldn't go to the movies. It was a struggle to go to the movies at this time. In what was it, last year?
Last summer. Yeah,
last
it's about
summer.
a year ago from.
There was just we could not it was just a struggle to do anything. So it was just we unfortunately didn't get to see it. We want to see it, just we haven't yet.
That's on Netflix, I think.
Well, that's cool.
But but with that being so low key and with the there wasn't a game or anything last year.
No.
I feel like it's been at least a year since we've had any real Star Wars, like a big cluster of interesting Star Wars stuff going on. And I like it. Like, when I compare it to the way that I'm starting to feel about the Marvel stuff, where I think Endgame is out in like a week or something.
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
A week, maybe by the time this goes up, like a week, probably.
And I'm like, hey, it was nice to miss Star Wars and then be like, oh shit, yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah.
As opposed to just having every 6 months there's going to be a new, either a movie or a show.
I'm going to be honest. We've talked about it. I like what is it? The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I liked The Last Jedi. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I was totally looking forward to the next one whenever it comes out.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't really hated anything Star Wars or whatever.
Right.
But all I know is this trailer happened. The trailer for the new Star Wars movie happened, and then hearing news about the Edge of the Galaxy stuff, and then hearing news about video game stuff, and then every new piece of info, just the child in me just starts squeeing I forgot how much I love Star Wars. I'm gonna spend so much money at that Galaxy of Edge theme park.
Okay, so let's talk about the trailer.
Okay.
New trailer came out for the third movie in the new trilogy, Rise of Skywalker.
The end of the epic that started with Episode 1.
Yes.
This is the end of the story. This is the end of it.
Yeah.
It's done. No more.
So I just want to talk really briefly about this. So with the whole in the trailer, the subtitle of the movie is The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
The end of the trailer has a very distinctive laugh in it.
Yes.
There's a line about how nothing ever dies and we're always with you and whatever. Now, you may know this better than I do, and someone in the comments can probably tell me, but it seems to me like all of these themes are in direct contradiction to what was going on in The Last Jedi, where it was the name doesn't matter and Jedis they shouldn't be a thing. And this was just yeah, Jedis, right? And Skywalkers, and listen to that laugh. It's an that's a villain that you remember, isn't it? It's almost like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson they're just making the movies independent of each other, and that this is a refutation.
Well, from what I understand, the movies are being... So J.J. Abrams had no idea what Rian Johnson was going to do, because he basically, because again, as everyone knows, J.J. Abrams can't write an ending. He likes mystery boxes. So he set up a bunch of mysteries and then said, hey, Rian Johnson, here are these mysteries. Go figure out what to do with them.
Right.
And figure out a way to continue the story. And Rian Johnson went, okay, well, what if we do this? And they, Disney and LucasArts was like, yeah, let's do that. And then he left, and Rian Johnson doesn't know what's going to happen in the next movie because he was not involved in designing the next movie.
Right.
So it was then J.J. Abrams goes, okay, well, now I have to deal with what
Rian Johnson did.
Yeah, with Rian Johnson did. Also, did you notice what that was that they were looking at?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that trailer.
Hey, guys, if you haven't watched this trailer, you probably need to skip this part. Yeah, but the big Death Star piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like the last movie was so much... the underlying theme of the last movie was kill your nostalgia. This is the starting point. We're going to get out of the past and we're going to move forward into a weird new future. Whether you like that or not, I did. I know people didn't. I'm not here to relitigate that. But then this seems like it's taking a whole step back to the first one of just like Skywalkers, Death Stars, Emperor laughs, like nothing is ever really dead. Or the last one literally had the line from Kylo Ren where he was like, kill the past.
Yeah.
And like, your parents don't matter. They weren't anything. And I'm like, it just feels like whiplash to me. Like the trailer in and of itself looks good. Like I like all the imagery and I like the characters and
So I will say this.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams loves his fucking nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at all of the movies that he has made, even the ones that are his own thing, like what was it?
Cloverfield?
No, he didn't direct that. He just produced it.
Oh.
If you look at what the fuck was that movie with the kids and the
Super 8?
Super 8, thank you.
Yeah. E.T.? I never watched it.
Even if you look at that, it's all very hardcore pulling on your nostalgia.
Right.
Like all of everything that he is directly involved in that has been big does nothing but pull on your nostalgia.
Right.
The man knows how to, that's all he knows how to do, it seems like. Also, the man knows how to make you excited for stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the worry is the man is also terrible at endings, as I said earlier.
Right.
If you look at every TV show he was involved with, if you look at everything, all his endings kind of suck.
Yeah. What's I even forget what like his big movies. Well, okay, he was Lost, right? He did Lost.
Yeah, he did Lost. He did Alias. He did.
Never saw Alias. I'm just
Felicity?
trying to look for.
Yeah, he did Felicity.
Let's see, director, Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek. Okay, I like the Star Trek remake, and that was like to me that was a good balance of nostalgia, but then new ideas and kind of. I like that movie.
I'm not saying like I like a lot of the stuff he's done. Like I want to stress that. Like I actually like a lot of the things, but I feel like there was a moment where he did a TED Talk. I think it was shortly before he took over Star Trek.
Yeah,
where he did this TED Talk
about the mystery boxes.
About the mystery boxes.
Yeah,
and then once he did that TED Talk, you could look at everything he had done in the past and everything he's done since.
Yeah,
and that's literally all he does.
Okay,
and again, he even says in that TED Talk, what's actually in the box doesn't matter.
Right.
And therefore, in most things where I do mystery boxes, I don't even actually come up with what's inside of it because I don't want to answer that question because any answer to that question is going to be a disappointment.
It's going to be a Death Star, isn't it? It's going to be another Death Star in the mystery box. They just can't make a Star Wars movie without Death Stars. There's a Death Star in 7. There was a Death Star in Rogue One. Like... all the
Rogue One was about the Death Star.
Right, I know. But 4 and 6 had Death Stars. Like... Geonosis on 2, they had the plans for the Death Star.
Yeah.
3 ended with the building of the Death Star. 4, they blew up the Death Star. 6, they were making a new Death Star. 7 had a mega Death Star. Rogue One was about the plans to the Death Star. I'm like, oh my God. Like one of the things I liked about Solo, no fucking Death Stars in Solo. Like,
well, you got to give it to this. If the laugh or whatever insinuation of all that is to be believed, the man commits to an idea.
We gotta have more Death Stars. I mean, I like the fact that in one of the scenes in this trailer is in episode 8, Kylo Ren smashes his helmet after Snoke belittles him for basically cosplaying Darth Vader. And there's a shot in this trailer of him gluing it back together
someone
is gluing it back together with lasers. And I'm just like, is that what this movie is? Is gluing the Darth Vader helmet back together and here's a new Death Star? And I'm like, no, please, God, don't. I mean, let me just be clear. I say this all the time, but I want to be really clear. My love for Star Wars is way lower than it used to be. So, if this movie turns out to be whatever, I don't care. I'll go watch it. I'll be like, and go on with my life.
So, and I'll even say my love of Star Wars is still exactly where it always has been. And the thing about that is that the stuff that I like, I will watch, I will read, I will rewatch, I will reread, I will replay the video games, I will do all this stuff, and I will enjoy the shit out of it. The stuff I don't like, I just won't ever watch or read again after watching it the one time. That's kind of how that's the type of fan I am, is that the stuff I like, I continue enjoying. The stuff I don't like, I don't give it a second thought.
Geez, John, that sounds like a healthy, reasonable way to consume media. What the fuck? You're on the internet, bro.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, I'm not too...
Hot takes. We need hot takes.
That is a hot take in this day and age, man.
Yeah.
So, I take everything as it comes, and this trailer did nothing but make me go, yay, Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm all excited for this movie. Am I a little worried? Like, literally the first time I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, oh, that laugh, that's cool. And then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, well, I was 100% on board, but then I saw the actual subtitle for the movie. And then I'm like, well, now I'm 99% on board. Like, I dropped down a percentage because I'm like, the implications of that title I don't like, because it kind of screams, like, there was some walking back that I expected with this movie because, A, it's fucking J.J. Abrams.
Right.
And B, of course, after the reaction of some of that stuff, they're going to walk back some of it.
Sure.
But
it's that subtitle that implicates a lot of things. And it's just like, it's so, I mean, like, they could have called it Rise of the Force, right? And that would have been like ambiguous, but I don't know. Yeah, anyway, it's not a big deal. I'm going to watch it, and I am excited for it. But as everybody out there should know, the name Kojima or Miyazaki has to be involved for me to be like, you know. I tend to save my excitement, and that way I rarely get my hopes dashed. I go in with a reasonable amount of like, man, that looks pretty good. And it's like, whoa, that was pretty good. And there we go. Instead of being like, oh, it's going to be the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The prequels already did away with that. The episode, some of the other stuff already did away with that. But in any case, I'll tell you what I am excited about more than this.
I will tell you pretty much everything else that got shown or announced at the Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Because it was an entire weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wasn't just one day of events. It was like an entire weekend.
Yes.
Like, I was excited for everything else.
Well,
more than I was that trailer.
I was excited that we finally got to see Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
We talked about it last week on the podcast and how we weren't going to be able to talk about it because we record this before it was going to happen. But speaking of no Death Stars, and no fucking Skywalkers, I like the idea of, okay, so we didn't see gameplay here, but this trailer takes, it made it clear this takes place, post episode 3, after Order 66, and the main character is a Jedi that's like hiding out on this shitty planet, just trying to hide from the Empire, and then, one day some shit goes down and he uses the Force, and now the Empire's after him, and he's trying to kind of hide and get away. He's got this lady that's a Jedi, that's like a mentor. He's got a droid, and the lightsaber seems like it's maybe like a dual lightsaber that's been broken. So he's got this broken lightsaber or whatever. I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, no, I do too.
All of that stuff to me is interesting. Of course, I do have to wonder. There's this part of this trailer where they're like working on this ship, and then it like the ship tilts and this guy falls off. And it looks like he's falling into a sarlacc. Did you guys put this ship right next to a sarlacc pit? Maybe
could
we were
be
like 20
they're
meters.
Doing salvage over a sarlacc pit.
So they just let all the garbage fall into the sarlacc pit?
Yeah, I mean, where else are you going to put it?
The ground.
Nah, sarlacc pit's like a alien garbage disposal. Don't worry about it.
But it seems like a lot of the enemies that we see in this trailer are they have a name for them. I don't have that up right now because we're actually looking at the trailer. But they're like Jedi hunters, basically.
Yeah, and these are characters that were actually referenced in a book.
Oh, okay.
Like the type of stormtroopers, like black armored Jedi hunters. These were actually referenced in an actual novelization. See. So it's in. They're not necessarily brand new creations. Yeah,
and that they're being led by like a very specific, like your villain type.
Yeah,
which is cool. It's been. I'm trying to think of what was the last single player Star Wars game that we had. Was it Force Unleashed 2?
Yeah, I think it was Force Unleashed 2.
Okay, it's nice though because I like. Oh no! I mean, it was Battlefront 2, the single player campaign in Battlefront 2, right?
If you call that a single player campaign,
but I don't know. I mean, all the facial expressions that I've gotten here, all the iconography looks like the kind of dirty, Orig-Tridge Star Wars,
and it's made in Unreal.
Yep. Because we were talking about that last week.
No fucking.
And it looks
Frostbite.
And it looks really good. I mean, like all the faces look good.
Yeah.
This guy, the main character, is somebody. He's like from the Gotham or something like that. He's from one of those shows that I don't really watch.
Yeah, I think he plays Jerome on Gotham or something.
But you know what? I like to see more I'd like to see more actual gameplay. But considering the game comes out in November, you know, we'll definitely be seeing more of this probably at E3.
Yeah.
Probably a stage demo or something. I would be surprised if it was on like Microsoft's. I guess it would have to be on Microsoft's one. Either that or the PC one. But yeah, I am really excited for this. Like I'm getting notes of Dark Forces, and I like the idea.
A little bit of a Jedi Knight
or Jedi Academy. You know, Respawn has shown that they're so good with like tight, good feeling mechanics. In fact, there was even a part in this trailer where you saw the main character wall running, like you do, like doing the parkour, like in Titanfall. I think if anybody could make this is going to be a third-person game, if they could go back in and get good mechanics for the lightsaber and stuff, that it would be Respawn. This should have been announced 2 years ago. Like, this looks amazing, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, me too.
Anything else?
On this, no. I mean, it looks great. Like, I mean, mind you, it's a CGI cinematic trailer, so
right.
You know what. You know, we could see footage of it and it looks like garbage, but
it's actually a Kinect game.
Yeah,
it's just Kinect Star Wars 2.
He's going to start dancing at any point.
The only platform it's on is the Xbox, because you have to have an Xbox old enough to have a Kinect attached to it in order to play the new Star Wars game.
Yeah. But no, I'm on board for it. I'm excited. This is probably going to be a day one buy unless the game footage comes out and it just looks like garbage.
Yeah.
Which I don't foresee happening.
I don't either. I mean, to be honest, like I don't like to get super gushy, but like I think Respawn's a really good game company.
No, I agree. They
like
are.
Some of their games have misfired. Like Titanfall 1 was an ambitious thing that didn't really do. I mean, it was an interesting idea.
It was an interesting idea that they learned from.
Yeah, but I like Titanfall 2 a fuckloads, and I like Apex a fuckload.
And I'll even go back to Titanfall 1 and say I don't know of any other company that has done a first person FPS like shooter battle type game,
right?
That is the story is told through online matches,
right?
Like that's the story mode, and there's actual story in it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know of any other company that's attempted to do that, and clearly it didn't succeed the way they hoped it would.
Yes,
but they learned from it apparently. So you know.
Yep. Speaking of learning from stuff, apparently Fallen Order also they asked Zampella on stage, no microtransactions.
Yeah, it's no multiplayer mode. It is single player only with no microtransactions. I love the fact that that's a selling point.
Yep. I don't know. I want it to sell really well and then just stick it. I want it to outsell both Battlefield. This is hard to say. Hard to do, but I want it to outsell both Battlefront 1 and 2. Like, it would be great if within the first 6 months it collectively was able to sell more than both of the two dumb online microtransaction games added together.
Yeah.
Of course, we go back to last week and I say I still don't think EA would learn anything from that.
Oh, I agree.
I think they'd just be like, well, it's Star Wars. What are you going to do? Everybody's going to buy a Star Wars game. But anyway, so yeah, if you're into that, no microtransactions, single player game. And it is coming out in November, which apparently that was in that trailer, but apparently it was kind of leaked in the celebration. There was like a pin because they had the pins.
Yeah.
And on the backing of the pin, it had the release date for it, even though they hadn't actually said that.
Yeah.
Another one that I think is looking really interesting, we've heard about this, is the Vader Immortal Oculus Episode 1 Star Wars VR game.
Yeah. It's interesting. Now we're finally getting some information on it. Your character does not play Darth Vader like we originally thought from the announcement. Your character plays like a mercenary or
I just watched a trailer. It didn't really talk very much about that.
But you have a robot companion who is voiced by Maya Rudolph, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a weird one. I didn't hear it when I was watching the trailer, but then I don't pick up on voices as well as other people. So
and it's interesting. Like I'm interested in this. Like I would love to play it.
If it wasn't an Oculus exclusive that you had to have a Rift or a Quest in order to be able to play?
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh, Oculus, what are you doing? Let everybody have the Star Wars fun. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this trailer makes it look like there's some lightsaber fight and there's some kind of ship doing, and you're walking around. You know, Vader's there. You're going to be doing some stuff. It looks
and it's only episode 1. There's going to be multiple episodes to it. It's a story that's going to be told over multiple parts.
I just wish it was on something besides Oculus. Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, and then there were a couple other things. I mean, like I know they had you can maybe talk about this. We don't have to get into it too far. They talked a little about the Mandalorian show.
Yeah, they did. I didn't. There's a lot of leaked footage about what they showed because that apparently is not getting put online.
Yeah.
In an official capacity, I haven't watched any of it because I don't care to watch grainy footage of trailers that.
You'll rather just wait and watch the HD trailer on YouTube.
Yeah, if it ever comes out, or watch it. But yeah, they showed trailer and behind the scenes stuff for The Mandalorian, which looked really cool. From what I understand,
is it Clone Wars is coming back for one more season?
Clone Wars is coming back for one more season.
I think I actually watched the trailer for that with Ahsoka and Darth Maul and all that stuff. I kind of fell off of Clone Wars, but everybody there seemed to be like fucking so thrilled.
Yeah.
And then there was a weird thing where apparently there was a side comment from one of the sound designers who has been working almost exclusively on the Star Wars Lego games that seems to indicate that there's probably going to be a new Star Wars Lego game.
Well, yeah, of course.
And that considering there wasn't one for The Last Jedi, it would kind of make sense if they rolled the episode 7 one into a new trilogy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Lego does, right?
Yeah.
So when the Rise of Skywalker comes out, then you'll have all 3 in one big Lego game. Because it's not like Lego doesn't have any Star Wars assets to mess around with. I mean, come on. So, yeah, I feel like that was most of the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Let's move on to consoles, because we got a lot to talk about. PlayStation 5 is a thing.
Yeah, well, we assume that's the name of it.
Right.
They didn't say what it was called. They just said a new generation, next-gen console is in the works, and we're going to give you some specs for it for the Sony console.
It's called the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's called the PlayStation 1.
Yeah. So yeah, this was an interview with Wired that was it Mark Cerny did, where they talked about it. I'm going to kind of sum it up here because I mean I don't know if anybody wants to go into every exact little thing, but it seems like okay. So we've had rumors for a long time that Microsoft is going to be doing some kind of like streaming console that's all about online streaming games instead of having physical stuff. You know, the scuttlebutt right now for Microsoft is that they're going to have 2 consoles, one which will be more expensive that will be based on rendering the hardware on the console, and a second one that'll be cheaper that is based on a subscription streaming service. And the question was kind of, I feel like everybody's been asking for a while now with Sony, like, well, are they going to do something like the Switch? Are they going to do something streaming like Microsoft? The indication from here is that no, they're just going to be beefing up. They're going to be selling you basically a better computer, like the PlayStation 4.
Like they're for them, it's business as usual. We're not going to try to rock the boat. We're just going to give you better graphics, smaller, more compact, more bang for your buck.
Right.
And they said that they would that it would be priced. I forget the wording they used. It was a weird wording for the pricing.
Appealing.
It
will have an appealing.
$599.99.
Cerny says, okay, here, let's do the exchange. There's always been a general range of launch pricing. Will the next console hew to that range? Cerny says, I believe that we will be able to release it at a suggested retail price that will be appealing to gamers in light of the advanced feature set. I think that it's probably going to be pretty expensive. I think we're probably looking at another $500 or $600 console at launch. Like that'll go down over time. But wait, what was the? No, it was the PlayStation 4 was $400, wasn't it?
Yes, the $599 was the PlayStation 3.
Oh, okay. So probably more. And what is the one? The Xbox One X right now is also $400.
Yeah,
the Pro and the X are.
Yeah,
where's the X 450?
I think the Pro and the X are $400 or $450. I don't know. I don't know what prices are.
Okay. In any case, I think that we've come to see that the market probably won't let you get away with more than $400, especially if Microsoft. Oh, who knows? Maybe the scales are going back again. John, maybe Sony's got a big head after the PS4. They're going to release it for $600. It's going to have too many things in it. Microsoft's going to eat their market share by being the underdog
walks
again.
out on stage. I feel like if there's ever like a Sony like experience event or whatever where they have like a stage show and someone walks out and Kaz Hirai walks out, be worried.
Right. But
which I know he's not even on the Sony side anymore, on the gaming console side anymore.
That's true. One of the big standouts is that it's got it's going to ship with a solid state drive.
Yeah,
which is always impossible to put a solid state drive in your console. But during the interview they showed it's also going to be backwards compatible apparently with all the PS4 titles.
Yeah, which is smart.
Yeah, I mean, if they're sticking with x86 architecture, there's no reason.
The only one they're going to have trouble with is the PS3, and that's just because of the fucking chipset they used on that goddamn thing.
Right. It's interesting. I was watching somebody in the Discord talking about this, and I think that it might be possible for them to do it. The problem is that you have to have a processor that is fast enough to essentially emulate that cell setup and run like a virtual version and be able to do it fast enough so there's no slowdown with all the instructions, right? So I don't know. They're using an AMD chip in this one, but one of the things with the solid-state drive is they talked about showing them Spider-Man, and apparently the load time on a PS4 in Spider-Man is 15 seconds, and the load time on the whatever this is 0.8 seconds. So with that solid-state drive, the load times are way lower. Apparently, they're really looking to get at the bleeding edge of stuff. Of course, you're never going to be able to outstrip the PC, but I think what they're trying to do is ship something that has the specs of what a currently good PC would have when they release the console.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're dealing with AMD to get some stuff ahead of time. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, they did say don't expect it this year.
Yes.
Maybe late 2020.
Yes.
Maybe. And they use the word maybe. I feel like people need to
I
take that into account.
So the fact that they're not E3, I think, means that next year, that would make sense for our prediction of announcement at next year's E3, along with a host of launch titles.
Not even do E3 at all and just do their Sony experience.
Or do that and then see it at the beginning of 2020 or mid-summer. When do consoles usually drop?
Usually drop around November.
Oh, yeah? Around the same time as all the big game stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least if I'm not mistaken.
It's been a long time. I don't remember.
It's been 7 years.
I don't even remember when the Switch dropped. That was during the summertime, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was like May June.
But it's interesting to see that it seems like we've got... we have 3 distinctly separate tracks from these manufacturers where it seems like Sony is basically just doing the like making a better PC than the last one. Microsoft seems like they're going to be doing some weird shit that we'll get back to in just a second. And, Nintendo's got cardboard VR. So
Nintendo does Nintendo.
Nintendo does Nintendo. And I'm glad you know what? The Switch is a fine little console, and we'll come back to that as well later. But one of the things that was talked about, there was an implication during this interview that Death Stranding might actually be on both the PS4 and the PS5.
The implication was actually quite a few titles, not just Death Stranding, but also like Ghost of Tsushima and a few other... and Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2. There
like all 3 of those titles, it was implied could be dual console launches.
Well, it's interesting because now that the consoles are just PCs, right? It's like, well, you could just, you play a PC game on lower resolution settings and then higher resolution settings on a better PC, right?
Yeah.
So it should be able to go, unless they're planning on doing something stupid like making a new cell structure, which I don't think that they're doing.
I think they learned that lesson.
Then it should be able to run everything because it's just like a PC. I mean, my PC can run DOS games. Like, there's no reason that the PS5 shouldn't be able to run everything except for PS3
I feel
games.
like all the companies, and this to a lesser degree Nintendo, but all the companies kind of realize that backwards compatibility is kind of an important thing to gamers lately. Maybe not as important as it was maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But it is something that a lot of gamers really want whenever you start talking about new consoles. Was it backwards compatible?
Mm-hmm.
And the only company that really doesn't look into that is obviously Nintendo, because they know that they can just sell it back to you a second or third or fourth or fifth time.
I mean, right now they've got the advantage of the fact that nobody bought a Wii U, so they can just release every game from the Wii U. And you're like, I never even had the console that was on. Like, I don't care about backwards compatibility. It's like I've got my Bayonetta 2 disc that I want to try to put into my Switch.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm just saying, like, it seems like, when it comes to Sony and Microsoft, a lot of people are like, well, but is it backwards compatible?
Right.
And that seems to be one of the big points that everyone asks now. And I feel like, especially when designing future consoles, both Sony and Microsoft, while that's not maybe the primary focus to make sure it's probably not a high-end, like, well, let's make sure everything's backwards compatible, I do feel like when the idea gets brought up of in the boardrooms of going, well, what if we were to just do an entirely new architecture that would allow us to do more than what our current architecture would be? And they're like, PS3. Well, yeah, and then they look at it and go, would it cause more difficulty for developers like the PS3 did?
Yeah.
Would it cause problems if we wanted to do backwards compatible for another, make things backwards compatible for another console in the future? Like, I feel like those are things that are asked, even if they may not be the most important bullet point. It is something that's in the discussion.
Backwards compatibility is not the first bullet point, but it's definitely in the list.
Yeah.
It's definitely one bullet point in the list. Also, they said they're going to be supporting up to 8K resolutions, even though I just got a 4K TV, Sony.
I don't even. I mean, I keep thinking I don't have a 4K TV,
device?
but my projector that we bought because we had to replace our projector technically is 4K, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, but you just don't have an XR Pro
I don't
to take
have
advantage of it.
I don't have anything to take care of the advantage of it. And plus, my even if I did have it, everything goes through a surround sound mixer or receiver.
Oh, that's
and
good.
The receiver is definitely not 4K pass through capable. So,
well, shit. Anyway, so yeah, PlayStation. There's going to be a new PlayStation. We probably won't be hearing about it for a while. And we'll be able to get our hands on it for a while. Yeah. We will, though, be able to get sad very soon.
Because Microsoft hears Sony talking about stuff, and they're like, oh, us too. Let's talk about stuff.
Yep, the Xbox One S.
All digital.
The Xbox One sad.
Yeah.
Guys, are you...
I actually literally could not let this go the morning after it was announced.
Yeah.
Because it bothered the shit out of me. And I think the reason it bothered the shit out of me was because of the fact that the Xbox One X naming was so deliberate. Because the acronym for, if you want a shorthand acronym, Xbox One X, it's Xbox.
Okay.
Like, that was deliberate. That's why it's Xbox One X. So that when you take the first letter of each thing, it's XBOX. So,
well, I mean,
so someone had to go Xbox One S All Digital Edition. Well, wouldn't that just be XBO SAD?
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe people won't notice. Or maybe that someone thought it was funny and decided.
Yeah, in any case, they had a weird... I'm trying to find it on their channel. They had a weird trailer for it.
Oh, yeah, that trailer was so fucking weird.
It was so strange where it was like a bunch of developers that were like, how will we do this thing? And then it was like, just delete the disk drive. So in any case, okay, here's the thing. There is now a new version of the Xbox One S that doesn't have a disk drive in it. That's your takeaway. It's $250. John points out, though, that there currently is an Xbox One S a bundle that is $250. Multiple
Xbox
bundles
One
that are $250 that have disk drives, but
when asked about it, Microsoft did come back and say, well, the idea is that the Xbox One S All Digital will be $50 cheaper than the Xbox One S, so we're telling retailers to price accordingly.
Yeah.
So the idea is that if a retailer has all their Xbox One S's at $250, then they should be putting out the Xbox One S All Digital at $200.
Yeah.
But the way they worded that was more of a, we're going to leave that up to the retailer.
Yeah.
And
it's not a bad idea, but you had a theory about what they're actually doing here.
So here's the thing. I don't think they care if this sells or not.
Yeah.
I honestly believe this is just them testing the waters.
Mm-hmm.
This is them seeing what people say about an all-digital console. They're seeing if people will buy an all-digital console. They're hoping that people will buy it, and because again, there's the rumors that the next console version, the next gen Xbox, there's going to be 2 versions of it. One will be the Xbox whatever with a disk drive, and one will be one without a disk drive.
Right.
And that, because of that, you know, I think they're trying to test the waters to see which one they should push harder.
Yeah.
And if people, if more people than they expect, like, I think they are going into this with not really expecting a lot of people to buy the console.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were to suddenly get a bunch of sales, more so than they would have expected for like an Xbox One S, for just the digital, then that tells them people are okay with all digital, and they can push. While they'll probably still release the disc version of the next gen console, they'll probably more heavily push the diskless drive one.
I gotcha. I don't know if they're actually doing this. You could tell me, but it seems like if the biggest thing for if you were going to do this would be to sell this with a year of the combined Game Pass Gold for free.
I think
or 6 months or something.
I think they are selling it with the Game Pass Ultimate, but it's a thing where you can get like the first 6 months for like $1.
Okay,
like it's a deal to get the first 3 or 6 months for a cheaper price.
Because that seems to me to be the that this would be for somebody who is looking for like streaming and a set-top box, and if you have the Game Pass and you're only going to be downloading games, like you're only going to be downloading what's on Game Pass, you're never going to have a physical copy of a game. And to me, it's funny, I am still running the Xbox One OG, like the launch one.
Same here.
If this was $200, I would consider, because I don't ever use my Xbox One for anything but the Game Pass games.
And I'll agree. Like, my immediate thought about this was like, well, you know what? I do buy all my games digital right now.
Right.
Like, I more often than like all my Switch games are digital, with the exception of like a handful that I bought when it first came out.
Right.
All my PlayStation games for the most part are also digital games. And even my, I've bought a lot of Xbox digital games as well. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm at a point where I'm like, well, digital is not a bad idea. But then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, well, what if I remove the disk drive from it? What am I personally losing?
Right.
And for me personally, I'm losing a DVD player.
Yeah.
I'm losing the ability to watch movies. I'm watch physical media that I own. And that also got me thinking that one of the selling points for the Xbox One S is the fact that it is a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Whereas you're now removing that functionality from it, and to me that makes it less enticing.
Well, it's if there's like, okay, it's not a bad idea, but if there's a bundle that's the same price that has the disc drive,
why wouldn't you get
that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you get the bundle that's now, like,
especially if you're someone who wants a 4K Blu-ray player.
Right. Like I as somebody who does this job, I would be interested in spending hard cap $200 on a discless Xbox One, because that would be useful to me, right?
Yeah, no, and even thinking about it, it's like I would like if it was $150 or $200, like somewhere around there.
Yeah, like
there'd be a part of me, like if I had like another TV in another room that I just wanted to be able to play games on or something.
Yeah,
I would. What I would probably end up doing is I'd probably end up putting the Xbox One S all digital in my living room, and then move the disc version into like that other room so I can watch Blu-rays on it. Right. Because if I want to watch a Blu-ray in the living room, I can easily put it in the PS4 and do that. Because
I'm looking on Amazon. Here's an Xbox One S 500 for $200,
but it's discontinued. But yeah,
sure. But I mean, it's still an S. Did they discontinue the S fully?
No.
Oh, okay. Here's the 1 terabyte version.
For $250.
For $250, and this is what? 3 months of Game Pass, 3 months of Gold, instant blah blah 4K. Xbox One is over a bunch of games. Okay, so this one I don't think comes with any games, but I mean, it's $250 with Game Pass means it does come with a bunch of games.
Yeah,
right. Comes with Game Pass games. You could play Sea of Thieves, Master Chief, New Gears of War, right? Like, and all just the other stuff that's on there. So, like, if you can't, you got to beat Microsoft. I'm not holding you to a huge standard here. You have to be able to beat your own price. That's what I care about. If you could beat your price on an Xbox One S, then
I feel like my disappointment here is that I really honestly thought that they were going to come out of the gate more aggressive with the pricing.
Right.
And I think a lot of people were actually hoping that they were going to come out of the gate more aggressive.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people who are like, you know what? When I had thought that this was going to be around $150 or $200 before it came out, when people were theorizing that that's how low that they were thinking about going,
right.
There were people who were like, I would never know intentions of ever buying a Microsoft console, but once I heard that, I was like, well, you know what? That's not that bad of a price. And then they said then they say, $250, and it's like, well, I'm going to go back to ignoring your console.
Well, see and for $250, for $50 more, you can get a Switch.
Yeah.
Which if you don't care about 4K, like, damn, the Switch is a hell of a fucking console, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get the Game Pass, you're not going to get backwards compatibility, but like, Switch is a lot. And then I think that the stock PS4 is also $300, right?
Yeah.
Like, it would be interesting for Microsoft to basically be positioning themselves as like, hey, do you not make a lot of money? Do you still want to play video games? Microsoft, we got you covered. $200, Game Pass, here you go. Like, go play Gears of War, go play the new games.
Yeah.
It's got EA access on it if you want to sign up for that, go. But, like, it just needs to come down a little bit. It seems weird to be quibbling over the price of one game between the two of them, but as a value proposition, I feel like if they're going to try to go for we've got the cheapest console in town, they need to make it the cheapest console in town.
Yeah. I think that's where my disappointment is that I felt like they were going to go. But then again, the more I thought about it, it's like, why would they go that aggressive if they're just going to abandon it by the end of next year anyways?
Or price drop it at E3, or release it now and in a month be like, hey, you remember that Xbox One S?
Well, it comes out in May, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it does.
So it comes out in like a month.
Yes. Sorry, I was just watching videos of somebody disassembling it on YouTube, so my brain was like, well, that's out right now. No, but yes, it does come out in May. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe they'll figure it out before they do it.
Yeah.
Microsoft, this is video game news. Every company does boneheaded shit, so maybe they'll get their shit together in time. They did get their shit together, though, that there is now a package that has both the Game Pass and Gold.
Yeah, so this was something that I said that they desperately needed to do because I think it'd be a good value if it was priced accordingly. And I think, when you hear the pricing of it, it is a good deal. Like, it is
$15 a month.
Yeah, it's $15 a month, and you get Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold, which, if you're paying for them separately, month to month, that is a hell of a deal because Game Pass is 10 and is Xbox.
Was it? I don't know. I pay for it yearly, so
yeah, it's like Xbox Game Pass is $9.99 a month.
Okay,
and then if I'm not mistaken, Gold is like $8.99 a month or something like that. Like, it's a little bit cheaper,
so you get about a quarter off.
Yeah, so you're getting a little bit. It's like, hey, that's actually a really good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to buy each service separately with annual subscriptions, you're actually getting it for a little bit cheaper.
Are you?
Yeah, from what I understand. And then I know that if you also want to go even more frugal, if you go look for the Xbox Live deals online where you can get like a card for 12 months of Xbox Live for like $40 or for $30 some odd $32, you can always find deals like that if you just look.
Right.
You could even get it even cheaper if you're buying them separately. Luckily, I will say kudos to Microsoft, because a lot of people before this announcement happened, when it was just being theorized, a lot of people were spreading rumors that when it got announced that you had to buy it bundled, like it was permanently going to change.
That was going to be the only.
That was going to be the only subscription, okay. And that the Xbox Live wasn't going to exist anymore, and Xbox Game Pass wasn't going to exist anymore. It's only going to be this Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Bundle.
Okay,
but that's not the case. Microsoft came out very quickly and said, no, if you only want Xbox Live, you can subscribe to only Xbox Live. If you want only Xbox Game Pass, you're allowed to only get Xbox Game Pass. If you want to sign up for both of them separately as two separate subscriptions, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Which if you're buying like annual subscriptions or buying like cards, because I think the Game Pass also has like a digital cards that they're sold just like the Xbox Live.
Oh yeah.
Passes. Like annual 12-month subscriptions. Like if you want to buy those separately and apply them as 2 separate subscriptions, you can do that too. Like they're like, however you, the consumer, want to consume this as a product, we're going to allow you to do it. We're not taking anything away.
Well, plus, I mean, like $15 a month is something that I think I have subscriptions that are $15 a month that I have forgotten about at this point.
Oh,
so,
yeah, no,
like,
of course. That's
not going to break the bank. Anyway, we got to start to press down the gas a little bit, as is the usual. Also, Microsoft's E3 conference is going to be on June 9th.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, and they talked about a little bit about how they are kind of coming at this this new conference as kind of a thing, considering they're the only console publisher or hardware manufacturer that's going to actually have a conference.
Have a big conference, yeah.
So like they're like, yeah, we're kind of the flagship, so we kind of are. We're not gonna. They're like, Phil Spencer was like, yeah, we're not. We're gonna make sure that it's worth people watching and not gonna try not to. Not his words, mine. Shit the bed.
Okay.
That's more my words. They're basically going to say no, because we know the other companies are not going to be there with live shows, so we want to.
You know what, if they come out and announce 5 new games for Xbox from all those studios,
he did say every single studio that they announced last year as that they purchased and are now owned by Microsoft.
Yep.
Every single one of them is going to have at least one game.
Good. That's what they need. I mean, the console is great. The service is great. Backwards compatibility is great. I don't like the way their store is laid out, but that's more of a personal thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But Microsoft isn't. They're not. It's not a bad console. It's just they don't have the games to keep up with it. That Earth Defense Force Iron Rain game was a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even shit like that. You just need games, Microsoft. Like even that Operencia game that came out, and I didn't hear very much about it except like 2 weeks ago. That Zen Studios first-person dungeon crawler. Anyway, moving along. Nintendo. We already talked about it a little bit, but we got a 15-minute Smash announcement. I was so glad that they talked about Joker, and at the end, it was the next day. It was like this was on the 16th. I think it was on my birthday, and then on the 17th, that was when Joker dropped.
So weirdly enough, it didn't drop until 11 p.m. our time.
Oh yeah,
because they were also like the store was down for maintenance.
Yeah, I noticed
which pissed me off because like I bought a game like not knowing that, and it kept erroring trying to download. So like this game that I really wanted to play, I couldn't play.
Yeah,
because I bought it and it allowed me to buy it, but it wouldn't download. And I was just like, why are you giving me errors? And I went online, looked like, oh, it's down for maintenance. Yeah, till 11. Son of a bitch.
Well, so when I got Smash back and I downloaded it, or I loaned my Smash copy to somebody, and so I was downloading it to look at this, and it downloaded it into the internal Switch memory, and then it started throwing errors like it was, and so I tried to move it to the card, but you can't do that. So I deleted it, and then I freed up space on the card, downloaded it to the card, but then I ended up re-downloading the whole thing, and the thing was I probably could have gotten away with not doing that, but I just didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
In any case, Joker is in Smash Brothers now.
He is now, yeah.
He's got some interesting moves. We won't go over all of them, but basically, the main thing is he's got some stuff that he can do, and then when he gets to a certain amount of damage, he brings in his persona that boosts all of his attacks. And I really like his final smash where it does like the all-out attack from Persona
everybody.
5. Even I like the fact that they recreated in his win screen as him like running across the screen. That's what happens in Persona 5 when you win a fight. That's the end of the fight thing. So he's pretty cool. Also, there is the stage builder, as you said.
Yeah, there's a stage builder now, and they also have not part of the pass. They also have 3 Mii Fighter costumes that you can purchase, and they're all like, or maybe it's more than 3.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 actually.
Because there's like
6.
The hat of the cat,
and they're like
lady.
75 cents a piece.
Yeah, Knuckles and Tails, and then the Persona 4 and Persona 3 protagonists, and a Teddy hat from Persona 4.
Yeah.
Also, it's worth just briefly noting that the stage that the Persona takes place on if you use the music from Persona 4 or Persona 3, it changes the colors on the stage. So
it also changes how the stage interacts as well.
And it's really, I played a little bit of it last night. It's a really striking looking stage. And I like the fact that the Persona 4 yellow, has the theme song, has Reach Out to the Truth. So anyway, yeah, stage builder. And then also there's a video editor now.
Yes.
You can edit down your videos and kind of make clips and then post them online.
And put like music over all of them, so it's one continuous music track.
Yep. And like writing and stuff. These are all good. These are all good additions.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love the fact that the everything with the exception of the stuff with Joker,
right,
is a free update.
Yes. So yeah, they even have some kind of new app for the phone where you can do.
Well, they already had an app, but that was how you did like
the voice chat for the
chats.
Switch, though, right? It was a Switch app, not a Smash app.
Well, I think it's like an app within the app.
Oh, okay.
Like it's a. I don't know.
In any case, I didn't really look into it all that much.
But there's an update for it that allows you to actually tell it to download stages and look at videos while not being logged into your console.
Yeah. So anyway, if your copy of Smash has been gathering dust, maybe dust it off and grab that. That's available now. Additionally, Nintendo had a trailer. We finally got to see what Mortal Kombat 11 is going to look like on. John. Mortal Kombat is so fucking close.
Yeah.
The time just flew by between the announcement of that game and like when this podcast comes out, it'll be
so excited.
2 motherfucking days. So yeah, anyway, we got a chance to see what Mortal Kombat is going to look like on the Switch. It looks okay. Like it's definitely not as detailed as the I feel like what we've seen on the other consoles.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like the thing is that it's a fighting game. Like I feel like it's kind of in line with Mortal Kombat X, maybe, or Mortal Kombat, somewhere between maybe 9 and X, somewhere in that fidelity.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. If it plays well, who cares? And then I don't know, from this trailer when they're showing the cutscenes, it looks like the cutscenes are definitely all pre-rendered on a better engine, but there's a lot of Johnny Cage shenanigans in this trailer.
Yeah, I really feel like they've put the focus on Johnny Cage in these last couple of games.
Yeah, I don't know, but in any case, I mean, I guess what I would come down to is from this trailer. If you have a Switch, or if you definitely want to play Mortal Kombat on the go, it seems like a perfectly good.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of is the Doom version, right? It's a graphical downgrade, but hey, you want to play it on your Switch? Play it on your Switch.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, still plays good.
Yeah. And then we had some more trailers for Mortal Kombat 11 because there's not a week that can go by where we don't have some motherfucking trailers for Mortal Kombat 11.
Woo!
This is the launch trailer that kind of lays out the storyline, and we got the Mortal Kombat, the techno Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
behind there.
that was nice.
My favorite thing that happens in this trailer is we see some motherfucking cyborgs.
You do,
we haven't seen any Sector Cyrax so far, and I feel like we see both of them. Cyrax is the motherfucking thumbnail for the trailer, I can't wait. I don't know how much more I can gush about Mortal Kombat. I mean,
Oh, I can. I mean, it's going to just be repeating, but I can gush on it for days.
Yeah. I really hope. I don't know if they announced that I hope the cyborgs are playable characters. At least one of them. I don't care if it's Cyrax or Sector or Smoke or Triborg or whatever. Quadborg?
It was Triborg.
Quadborg is our...
Yeah, we said Quadborg.
Quadborg is us. And then we also got a Shao Kahn trailer. A trailer specifically for Shao Kahn.
Showing off the pre-order exclusive.
Yeah, who looks just as brutally brutal...
As Shao Kahn always has.
As Shao Kahn always has been. It's weird, though, he's got like a spear now, right? In addition to his big hammer. Before, it was just that motherfucking hammer. Yeah, silly looking hat.
Looks fucking brutal.
Silly Shao Kahn doing his dumb Shao Kahn-ness. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It comes out on Tuesday, and I can't fucking wait. So that's the end of my commentary for Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Kind of going back a little bit, we got a couple of quick news things. I'm actually going to clear off one of these because we don't have time to talk about it. But so Jason West of West and Zampella of Respawn is going over to Epic Games.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's kind of took a step back from Respawn a little while back.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
And now he's coming back and he's going to Epic, which if he's going to be making something for them or if he's going to be working on the store or whatever. But hey, you know what? Again, I have a lot of respect for Weston Zampella because their shit's tight. They make tight shit. They keep their shit tight. So, and then speaking of Epic Games, some data mining indicates that we're going to be seeing a return of Thanos pretty soon, which
with Endgame coming up,
of course we are. Of course we are.
And for those wondering what he's talking about, in Fortnite.
Yes, Thanos in Fortnite. From there, we got some trailers. Overwatch, the Archives Storm Rising, the new Archives event is out.
Yes.
And it's I haven't played it yet, but it's 4 players. It's Genji and Winston, Tracer and Mercy.
Yes.
Fighting like one of Talon's. They're trying to capture one of Talon's like accountants or something like that.
Yes, because if you want to take down a criminal, you don't go after what the crimes they're actually committing. You go after their taxes.
Don't nobody look at my taxes. Nobody look at my taxes.
You go after their their tax evasion or their books. You go where they're stealing money from the government because that's how everyone tends to be able to take them down. But it's an interesting little thing. I will say I'm a little disappointed in the trailer because the trailer shows a lot of stuff that's not actually in the mode.
Yeah.
Like there's one scene where like Tracer's on a motorcycle, riding down the street, and I'm like, are they going to put a motorcycle chase scene in this game? Like what the fuck? And no, they're not at all.
Yeah. But then this also means that we're going to get Uprising and the Blackwatch one, Retribution are coming back for this time. And then there's, of course, a bajillion new skins and stuff. I hate to say it, but this is one of those times where I'm like, man, I got too many other motherfucking things on my plate. Like,
tell me about it.
Like, I don't have time for you right now, Overwatch, and that's sad. But, let's see. We're going to chop a few of these out. Samurai Showdown, we saw a new trailer for the new character Darlie Dagger, the pirate. I was thinking about how much I liked the last King of Fighters release.
Yeah.
And how it really kind of took me by surprise. And I don't know, Samurai Showdown is a game that I think I played it in the arcades, but I was never, how long do you really play a fighting game in the arcades? It's not like you just keep pumping in quarter after quarter. I don't know that I've ever really gotten into Samurai Showdown, but I feel like I've always wanted to be into Samurai Showdown, and this looks really good.
Yeah, looks decent.
Yeah. All right, 13, the game, not the number, is getting a remake of some sort.
Yeah.
Not an HD release.
For those who don't know what 13 is, some may remember it as a video game that came out in the early 2000s. It was like cel-shaded animation, PC and PS2. It was voiced by David Duchovny, the main character. It was based on a French comic book of the same name. It's the Roman numeral 13. There was also a miniseries starring Val Kilmer that also was done based on the same story.
Really?
Yes. It was actually not bad. I actually liked it. They actually did 2 miniseries. There was the first one, and then they did a sequel miniseries with a different actor, which was weird.
Okay.
But I actually watched that because I actually liked the game. I actually really liked 13, the game, and actually went and found the comic and read it because of that, and was really excited when that TV show came out, or that miniseries event came out. But it was okay. But they're apparently remaking the entire game from the ground up. So what that means is that, they're not using any of the assets from the original, whether that's remaking as in it's going to be the exact same game, but just with better graphics, or maybe a more modern mindset behind the way the game works.
Right.
Or if that means that they're just going to be adapting the same story and doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's difficult to say because of the number of different sources, right? Like, all the sources say remake, but like, what does that mean? Is that mean that you're just going to be, it's going to be a beat for beat remake of the original, but with upgraded graphics? Are you going to be, are you going to be taking the original story and then,
is this gonna be an entirely new, like, are you using like the original audio from the original game, so it's just David Duchovny and fucking all of them with their original voice lines so they don't need to re-record anything,
right?
Or is it a case of you're going to have to get new actors in to revoice the characters, because obviously, as the most articles that I've seen about this have pointed out, one of the characters was voiced by Adam West.
Yeah.
Adam West, who is no longer with us.
Right.
And so if it's a thing where they're going to get the original actors back to revoice it, obviously that character will have to be recast.
Right.
And you know, and also, you know, who knows if they'd even be able to get David Duchovny back to revoice it.
True. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's on the horizon. That's not a one I would have picked out for.
Yeah. It's also an interesting story. I mean, it's kind of cliched by today's standards. It's about a guy who is an assassin who wakes up with amnesia, but he's blamed for killing the president of the United States, and he goes on the run because he doesn't remember doing it, and all he knows is that he has a tattoo of the Roman numeral 13 on him.
Okay.
And so that's all the information he has about himself. So it's him trying to find out, did I actually kill the president of the United States and I just don't remember it? Why don't I remember it? What caused my amnesia?
Okay.
And so on and so forth.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a few more here and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. At the Star Wars Celebration, one of the characters who was a voice actor in Horizon Zero Dawn said, quote, "Just wait until you see the sequel. You're going to die. I know some secrets. You're going to die," indicating that there's going to be a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn.
The hell you say?
Yeah, not exactly the most, oh my God, shocking thing in the world, but
I figured we all pretty much just assumed there was going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear it confirmed.
Yes. Or rumor confirmed.
Rumor confirmed.
We talked about Project Octopath Traveler. It got an official release date for June 7th.
Oh, nice.
So it's coming out pretty soon. On the PC, that is. On the PC. And speaking of stuff you'll be able to play on the PC, Konami announced the whole Castlevania Anniversary Collection lineup.
Yeah, this is coming out on PC, PS4, PS3, Switch.
PS4, PC, Xbox One, and Switch.
Yes.
Yeah. So NES, Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Super Castlevania 4, but then also Castlevania The Adventure, Simon's Quest, Bloodlines, and Kid Dracula, which is...
Kid Dracula is interesting because that's never been released in the States.
Yeah.
And it's apparently going to get the full translation because they showed screenshots, and the screenshots were fully translated.
Okay.
Which the original game, they were not because they were never...
Because it was never released.
Because it was never brought over here.
Okay.
But that one, the interesting thing about Kid Dracula, if you're not familiar with it, is it's a spoof of
Castlevania,
where you're playing as a kid Dracula, but it's more everything's comedy based, but it's kind of the same design levels and play mechanics as a Castlevania game.
Okay.
But it's just done more for humor and comedy.
Okay.
Though there is one villain that they may have to change if they're going to be making any edits, because there's a character who's a spooky ghost, and he has the swastika on his forehead, which for Japan that doesn't necessarily mean swastika Nazi. It's just and he doesn't look so much like a ghost as he does look like a Klan member.
Interesting. Okay.
So it would have a bit different connotation here, but then again, it's a villain character. It's a character you defeat, so maybe they don't need to change it.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll get to find out on May 16th. And then let's finish up with some Assassin's Creed stuff. So we got a trailer this week for the Assassin's Creed Odyssey: The Fate of Atlantis DLC. This looks like way more intricate than a lot of anything else I've seen for this game. Got this weird upside down Inception shit and all these gods that I can't tell if they're the same weird like proto race.
I think they may be I think the implication here, because I know we were talking in Assassin's Creed 2 and possibly even 3, where they talked about like the city that
there's a cataclysm that the precursors or whatever.
The precursor race, the cataclysm happened that city may have been Atlantis.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But you said that's what you thought it was.
I could be making up shit. I mean, I could be making up shit. So.
This could be a situation where some of those people survived that cataclysm.
Right.
And maybe that city that survived was Atlantis. And so this is the story of this character finding out about them.
Well, because there's a character in this trailer, there's a lady that's one of the gods that looks an awful lot like whoever the weird antagonist computer lady from 3 was.
Oh, okay.
Remember at the end of the game, the one that you basically submit to.
The ones you have to release.
Yeah, or that you let her inhabit your body to go back into the world to stop the cataclysm that happens every 1,000 years or whatever. She reminds me a lot of that character. Also, the way that their headgear reminds me a lot of just the design from those characters. I can be picking that totally up. I will say, though, that this whole trailer looks funky. Like, it looks like a lot funkier than Assassin's Creed Odyssey was. Like, there's a lot of this weird upside down Inception, the sky is the ground
Well, the implication is that you're in the underworld.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It looks weird. I mean, it looks strange.
Yeah. No, I'm interested. I'm interested to know what the story for that is.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Assassin's Creed Unity may have been a total nightmare shit show, but something good may come of it.
Yeah.
Because apparently when they were making Assassin's Creed Unity, the one developer spent like 2 years modeling Notre Dame brick by brick by brick by brick, and that information may help them to rebuild after the terrible fire that happened last week.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess, one of the few times where weird video game developers' attention to detail is going to be a good thing, right? I don't know why you would actually need to spend 2 years. I don't remember spending a lot of time inside of Notre Dame when Assassin's Creed Unity, and I did play that game all the way to the end. But
well, I mean, it's so the way I understood it is that when they were putting in the game, because again, Ubisoft is based in France.
The hell you say?
The Notre Dame is a huge popular landmark and beloved landmark.
Sure.
And, yes, it's a church, but it's also history.
Right.
Like there's
it's where the Hunchback of Notre Dame lived.
Yeah, there's a lot
famous hunchback houses.
There's a lot more to it than just being a church.
Right.
There's a lot more significance to it. And if I remember correctly, the developer who did that, because even when the game first came out, he was like, yeah, I spent 2 years like doing this, because it was like, I want to make sure that this monument, which is French and it's important, is portrayed
as accurate as
human possible. I think they did state that they actually added a few things to it to account for the assassinating. But they said that they do still have the models that didn't have that stuff added to it. So.
Right. So interesting. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer a few questions. And stick around. We will see you in just a second.
Hey.
It's time for questions. MailerAidSite.com. That's the email address to sending your questions to. But wait, it's not actually time for questions.
Oh, no.
It's a bait and switch. That was the bait. Here comes the switch. Nintendo Switch. No. John.
Yes.
You watched Hellboy last week.
I did.
We're a little light on questions this week, so I briefly wanted to say, now everywhere that I've seen seems to say that Hellboy is a festering pile of putrid garbage. But I think I saw you on Twitter saying, It
is not as bad as people make it out to be.
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed it, truthfully.
Yeah.
I have some issues with it. Like, it's definitely got some problems. But I laughed at at some of the jokes.
Okay.
Some of them fell a little bit flat. Some of them worked better than others. I generally like the story. I mean, I feel like if I had a complaint with it, I feel like they may have gone a little bit overboard with the gruesome, bloody stuff. Like, because it's one thing to do, have like blood and guts and all this other stuff for effect.
Right.
But then it comes to the point of, well, now it's
like gratuitous.
Yeah, it's just gratuitous
type stuff.
Yeah, and it's cartoony at the same time, so it's a little cartoony at the same time, so it's like what am I even supposed to be feeling here?
Okay.
I do feel like 90% of the reviews that I've read or seen are people that are just upset that it's not Del Toro's third movie with Ron Perlman.
Okay.
like every review, it's like, well, it's not Del Toro's movie with Ron Perlman. And my issue with that is that most of you motherfuckers didn't like it because that movie bombed in theaters. So go fuck yourself.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You know, where were you when that movie came out?
I don't have a lot of. I don't have like a dog in the Hellboy fight. So
I love Hellboy. It's one of my favorite comic book characters. One of, not my most favorite, but definitely one of those. I actually own quite a few of the library edition volumes, which is like the oversized hardcover that collects all of them.
Right.
I think there's like 8 of them. I've got like 4 or 5.
Oh wow. I guess
they're expensive. They're like 75 or like $50 to $75 depending on the volume.
Okay.
So I don't have the money to just go buy them willy nilly, but a couple of them I actually got at like a half price books for like $25 a piece. I was like, I'll buy 2 of them for $50. That's.
Well, let me ask you this, because I feel like when I was watching the trailer, the thing about the trailer was that it came off very glib. And I mean, you know, with Mignola's art and the subject matter, Hellboy, it has moments of levity, but it's also a very serious, dark, kind of gritty story. So, I mean, was it more jokey than the Del Toro movies, maybe, or like? Or did you feel like, because you know, I know that when we talk about Thor Ragnarok, you felt that Thor Ragnarok undercut some of its like drama with jokes.
I don't feel like it undercut the stuff with jokes. Like I actually feel like the gratuitous cartoony blood and gore kind of undercut where jokes would have for Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
Like sometimes it's like, okay, it's a little bit too much. It's just being gross now. Like it's not even like this does not. You could remove all this from the movie and it does nothing.
Okay.
You know, it changes nothing about the movie. I don't really feel like it is a different take on Hellboy. Like it is like Ron Perlman's depiction of Hellboy and David Harborough?
I have no idea. I have literally no idea. I mean, I could look it up.
The guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Like his take on Hellboy, while they are intrinsically the same character, and you look at them both and you're like, oh, that's Hellboy. They are portrayed differently. Like, and you know, I feel like where
David Harbour,
yeah, where Ron Perlman's Hellboy is more of a charismatic, I know what I'm doing, but I'm also kind of a fuck up, but I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Like there's like, I know what I'm doing. I may screw up every now and then, but I still know what I'm doing.
He's kind of like a Dante almost.
Yeah.
Like a, you know, kind of a,
like he's cool and charismatic, but he always knows what he's doing, but sometimes he may screw up, but he still finds a way to come back from that screw up.
Right.
Whereas David Harbour's character he's a Hellboy who's unsure of himself.
Okay.
He's not, you know, the I know what I'm doing at all times. It's a character who's just kind of like questioning. Like he's depicting what in the comics would be a younger Hellboy.
Okay.
Than what, say, like if you were to look at it in a timeline of the comics, David Harbour's character is the young version of Hellboy, whereas Ron Perlman's the older version of Hellboy.
Okay.
That's more sure of himself after he's gotten past all the bullshit.
Okay.
The weird part about that is if you're a fan of the comics, the story they're adapting is like the final chapter of Hellboy.
It's an old Hellboy story.
Yeah, it's also, again, is like the most dense, rich, and has references to... Because what most people don't realize about Hellboy is in the comics, it's not one continuous long story.
Right.
It's individual stories that are told like in one shots or in backup stories or, you know, over
or like a 2 or 3 issue arc.
Yeah, 2 or 3 issue arc, and they don't all take place in chronological order. Like sometimes he'll be telling a story that takes place modern, then he'll go and do a story that takes place in 1962, and then he'll do a story that takes place in, you know, in a different time in the 70s or in the 80s or whatever. And so the comics kind of jump around.
Yeah.
But then like every now and then you'll get a story that references to a different story, so you can kind of see where
you kind of put it in your mental timeline.
And then this story pretty much has its hooks in almost every Hellboy story that comes before it.
Okay.
So my other problem with this movie is that it's telling such a dense, rich Hellboy story that requires prior knowledge to past events that haven't happened or
that aren't in the movie,
or that are in the movie, but they have to. So to explain it, they then have to do I think there are like a total of like 5 flashback sequences.
Oh wow, okay.
Like in the movie, and so like they constantly have to be like, well, who's that character? Well, let's flash back to this thing from like years ago and to kind of explain it. And I do feel like it kind of, because it has to move the plot along in a 2.5 hour time frame, it's kind of just jumping from scene to scene.
Okay.
And I see that's actually a lot of people's big complaints with the movie.
Is it just kind of it keeps moving too much that you don't have time to kind of settle into the story?
Yeah, there's no point.
Jumping
but
back
having
and forth.
said that, I don't feel like it loses you.
Okay.
Like you don't get lost in what's going on. Like, because Amanda has never read a Hellboy story.
Right.
And she followed everything perfectly. Like when we were talking about it afterwards, no point when I was like, "Oh yeah," and I know the story this is based on. And no point did she go, "Well, I have questions." She was like, "Oh, I understand this," and I was like, "Yeah, it kind of bothered me that this thing was done as a flashback, which I really wish would have done more." For this. And she's like, yeah, but I understood it, and I got that it means this and this. And I was like, okay, well, she understood it.
Okay.
And she's never read a Hellboy story. Strangely enough, she's more of a Lobster Johnson fan, which Lobster Johnson is in the movie. So he's in this movie as well. So it played by Hayden Christian Church.
Okay, that's weird.
And he's fucking great. Like those are probably the scenes with him in it are some of the best in the movie.
Okay,
so it's good. I feel like in the Del Toro movies, and again, because I feel like you can't talk about one without the other, even though there's really no reason to compare them because they're not adapting the same stories.
Right.
Like there is a flashback sequence that quickly goes, hey, remember this scene from that would essentially be the first Hellboy movie, Del Toro's first Hellboy movie?
Right.
We're going to tell it, but it's going to be a little bit different than that because this is a new continuity,
right? But
we're not going to spend so much time on it that we're just going to give you the bits and pieces, and then we're moving the fuck on.
Okay.
We're going to give you the bits and pieces that you need to know in case you haven't seen that movie or are not familiar with Hellboy.
Right.
I almost said Daredevil.
Yeah, they're both red. Big red.
Yeah, but so it's I without going into it, there were some aspects of it as a Hellboy fan of the comics that I was a little disappointed in the implementation, but I understood the changes that were made and why. I still really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a fun movie. It's definitely got its problems. I do feel like it feels like So I've heard another complaint that I've heard is that it feels like it's only like a 2.5 hour movie and it feels like you're just in that theater forever.
Yeah.
And that's because it's so dense. But I don't feel like it's a slog. Like I feel like you're getting a lot of stuff. You're getting a lot of information.
Okay.
And it feels like you've been in there longer, not in a bad way, but you're getting more of it. I thought the character designs were great. Especially when there's one scene where demons are coming out from hell, and oh man, the creatures, the demons that are coming out from hell look so fucking badass. Like the character design, like I cannot stress the character designs look really cool. Those look like something out of like a Bayonetta game, or even a little bit of like a Dark Souls or something like that. Like I wouldn't say Dark Souls. Like you'd probably look at it like that looks nothing like a Dark Souls. But I mean, it's kind of like a weird.
They have way too much hair on them, so you couldn't.
No, there's no hair.
There's no hair.
There's no hair.
Okay.
But I liked the designs of these demonic creatures that were coming up.
Okay.
As far as the actors go, I thought every actor was fucking perfect for the part. Like even Mila Jovovich as the villain character. I mean, she came into the movie and just started chewing up scenery, which kind of was required for her character, and I thought she was perfect in that part.
Yeah.
I thought everything. To me personally, I feel like this should have been the sequel or the third movie.
Right.
But this story should have been a sequel or a third movie. But I thought, given that it's first movie and what it's telling, it definitely. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a fun movie. I think this is a movie that you go watch, you have fun, you turn off your brain, you watch it, and it's good. Okay. Like it's not going to be it's not Oscar material. It's not the best movie.
I think what you just said is very important because it feels to me like there's so many times you can say to somebody, if you're if you are looking for a reason to dislike this movie, you will probably be able to find it. If you're just going to go in there and be like, entertain me for 2 hours, then you might
it's not the Del Toro movies.
Right.
Like, that's the other thing. Again, I feel like people went into this going, why I'm going to hate it because it's not Del Toro. Well, then, yes, you're going to hate it because it's fucking not Del Toro.
Right.
Because it's completely different. Like, even the tone is different.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely different source material that it's adapting. It's... it's different. Like they're almost not comparable, even though they're the same character.
Okay.
They're both are perfectly valid. They set it up so that they could do sequels. I personally don't think they're going to get it, especially with the fact that it essentially bombed at the box office.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Lionsgate actually came out and said that if it made $15 million first weekend domestically, they would consider that success.
Yeah.
And it made 12. And so it was like everyone was like, oh, wow, that's a really low number. Sure, okay, yeah, I could nope, it didn't make it.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to get a sequel, which is really sad because I actually would like to see more of those actors as those characters in future installments.
Okay.
Like, that all seems interesting to me. And especially with the after credit sequences, because I think there's like 3 after credit sequences.
Of course there are.
And all of them are implicating future story ideas.
Okay.
And I think it's fun. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I had some problems with it. It's not a perfect movie, so don't come at me like, John, you're saying it's a perfect movie. I didn't say that. It has its issues. I understand certain criticisms. I have criticisms myself, but when those credits rolled and after all the after credits, I was like, I really enjoyed that. Why did people hate it that much? Like, that doesn't, like, I honestly didn't understand why people hated it the way they hated it. And then I actually
so close to making an Anthem joke.
Well, because I actually didn't read any of the reviews going into it because I wanted to go in. I didn't want anybody else's opinions to color mine. So I went, and then afterwards I went and read like 2 or 3 reviews, and literally every single review was, it's not Del Toro, Ron Perlman, Hellboy.
Right. Well,
but I'm not hating it for that reason, but I just keep coming back to the fact that it's not the Del Toro, Ron Perlman, Hellboy movies. And I'm like, your entire review keeps comparing it, yet you say you're not going to.
Right.
And it's like, okay, whatever, dude. If you hate it, that's fine, but maybe you're not going in with the
Hey, people don't like a thing, you don't like a thing. But anyway,
I thought it was good.
Okay, well, that's good. Let's jump into these questions. Our first one this week comes in from Slots, who says, "Hello, Jeff and John.
What up?
I had a debate with a friend of mine about Red Dead Redemption 2 and how much should outside information influence your feelings of a game. Long story short, the game was a mixed bag for me. Some of it was magnified by stories of severe labor issues in the development of games. My friend thought I wasn't being fair to the game by doing that. With that in mind, do you let or have you ever had outside information influence your thoughts on a game? Do you think it's fair at all to consider that kind of information when developing your impression of a pop culture work in general? Thanks and take care." And that's from Slots.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I think just like with movies, I go in and just look at, did I enjoy the game? Like, I don't look at like who made it, like other, outside of, if it's from EA or it's from Ubisoft or whatever. Obviously I know that. I don't look up what's the development behind this game. What's
right.
Like, was there problems? Were there labor issues? I don't look at any of that. I just play the game. If I enjoyed it, that's my immediate take. If I didn't enjoy it and I know why I didn't enjoy it, I might look into why the game had those problems, and which, if I see that, like, this game had like these really bad developer problems and there were just issues all around, then I can maybe go, okay, well, knowing that those issues were happening, I can maybe either be more harsh on it or be less harsh on it. And in some cases, I may even, on a game that I liked, I'd look at it and go, okay, well, maybe... like, well, that's not good. But I think my first impression is always, did I enjoy the game or not?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The thing about the second half of this question is that I kind of compartmentalize,
Yeah.
right? There's not. I think one of the hardest things. I mean, and I think we were just kind of dancing around it, maybe a little bit with the Hellboy thing, is the idea of enjoying a thing but still being able to say, I understand there were problems here, but I did enjoy it. So, like, the thing about Red Dead Redemption 2 and the crunch that we've talked about, hell, even last week, talking about the BioWare and people leaving on, like, PTSD fucking stress leaves from that. You know, the problem, Slots, with this is that you may not know it, but most games have a hellish crunch cycle at the end. Yeah. It's part of the way games are developed, and it's kind of... And a lot of it times it's considered to just be like the thing that happens at the end of game development.
And it's something that I feel like game developers have been like the lower end game developers, like low people on the totem pole, that they're being affected by this. This is something that they're happy is starting to get out to the public.
Yes.
Because it's something that they've wanted to change for a long time because of how of a normal thing this is considered within the gaming industry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was what was it, like 5-10 years ago when there was a thing where the spouses of a bunch of developers got together and they were basically just like, fucking let our husbands come home. Like, you can't, I haven't seen my husband in a month because you're making this video game. And a lot of it, so here's the thing. I think I can honestly say I hate crunch. I would rather there not be crunch. If you want me to sign a form, I'll sign a form. If you want the game to take a year longer to put out, it takes a year longer to put out. If you ask me the question, I do not want developers to have to go through that type of working environment. It just, I don't know. There's a point. I've wrestled with this for a while about basically it's that age-old question of divorcing the artist and the art, right?
And I think that's kind of where my head is now that I think about it. It's something like that doesn't affect my enjoyment of the game, but it will affect my opinion of the publisher and the developer.
It also depends on what it is. Like, not to get too far out of field, but like, I have a lot of weird feelings about, like, there are a lot of Kevin Spacey movies that I like, right? And that now it's kind of weird. There are a lot of Bill Cosby movies that I enjoyed when I was younger, and now
Leonard Part 6.
Like Leonard Part 6, melted butter. But that's weird. But then, the fortunate thing is that this is like shitty working conditions, and the thing is that I feel like the other problem with shitty working conditions is that, boy, howdy, it is not just the game industry. It is not just the entertainment industry. I feel like shitty working conditions are a thing from top to bottom. And anytime you want to hand me a piece of paper that says boo to shitty working conditions, I will sign it and get behind it 100%. The problem is that if you kind of get into this issue, or this is the reason I try to do separation in my mind, is because, do you watch The Good Place?
Yeah, I have. I mean, the first season, but yeah.
Okay. In the last season of The Good Place, this isn't a spoiler for anything, they're talking about how humans can't get enough points to get into heaven because when you buy a tomato, it's like you're supporting an industry that like exploits its workers, and like they're undercutting small businesses, and then like, did you eat all the tomatoes or did you throw one away? Are you doing food waste? So there's like a million different little implications based on every single thing that a person can do that could be bad, right? Like if you wanted to live a really, and I'm not trying to hammer on you, Slots, but like comes a point where I have to like, I know that the meat industry is fucking terrible, but I still eat hamburgers because in a lot of ways, I can't I feel like there's horror in the world wherever you look. And if you let it can basically be in every single part of your entire life. And so I think that it's totally fair if that bothers you and you don't want to play the game. I just think that for me, it's like I've been around this block enough times to know that, again, you're getting a news story about Rockstar because Red Dead is popular and because Rockstar is a big company. But motherfucker, it's every company. I'm sure that every single, I mean, okay, there are probably companies out there, you can find your article, you can send it to me or whatever, but like this crunch has been a thing that's been going on for a long time. Bad work conditions have been a thing that's going on for a long time. We've heard it out of CD Projekt Red. We've heard it out of, it's Cage's company, Quantic Dream, Rockstar. There's been EA just top to bottom. There's been so many places where we've heard horror stories of the way that people work, and for me, I have to just kind of put those two things in two separate boxes, right? I enjoy Red Dead 2. If it had taken a year longer to make so that people didn't have to work themselves into a grave, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I still would have enjoyed Red Dead 2 under that condition.
Yeah, it'd be fine with me. If BioWare had wanted to take another year to make Mass Effect Andromeda and make it like work instead of or Anthem instead of working their people to the bone until they were literally having nervous breakdowns, I am not in favor of nervous breakdowns. I'm not in favor of nervous breakdowns. But there's so much horror hiding behind everything that it's hard to take everything into consideration every single time you do a thing. So I separate it. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe I shouldn't. But
and I think the big thing you hit on earlier is I don't think it's weird that or bad that you do that. You are allowed to allow whatever you want to influence your opinions.
Absolutely.
That's that is you as a person. That is your right. As a person to form opinions based on all the facts or none of the facts. Whether those opinions themselves are accepted by others, that's an entirely different story.
Well, that would be up to them, right?
That's up to them. But you are entitled to your opinions and to stand by your opinions.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that's something that you look at and you're like, I can't look past that, therefore I kind of like this game, but now hearing about the conditions that it was made under, I don't like this game. That's perfectly fine. You're allowed to do that.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. As for me personally, or for Jeff personally, it's kind of for Jeff, he's saying he compartmentalizes it.
Yeah.
Whereas I typically don't think about the other stuff when I'm talking about the enjoyment of a video game itself.
Right.
But like I said, that stuff may affect my opinion of that publisher or that developer.
It's also really hard to find this stuff out unless there's like an expose. Who knows if the people that developed the Nintendo Labo had like a horrible time doing it? Maybe. I mean, we know like Konami is bad about abusing their employees, but like, I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone around looking up the Resident Evil 2 development team. Like, did they go through a hellacious crunch? Did they not go through a hellacious crunch? Like, I don't know. It's not like you can just load up a website called did they work too hard.com or something like that. So it's also difficult to know. I think it's probably a lot more common, though, than most people think. I think that people care about it when it comes up.
Having, the fact that I do know people who do work in the video games industry and hearing the stories from them, I know it is more common than people realize.
Yeah.
In some of those cases, some of those people speak of it in horror terms, and then we had to do this in this game, and that almost made me want to quit the industry.
Right.
Kind of thing. But also, I've heard some friends we did 2 months of crunch to get this game out the door, and I didn't see my family for 2 months, and it's okay. I was okay with it. I'm literally just he's like, but that's the game industry. It's everywhere. So you just kind of gotta suck it up and deal with it.
Right.
But it's just well, you shouldn't though. But again, that person was like, but it's what you do. So that's I do it once every 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, hell, didn't even in that Red Dead 2 story, didn't they even have Rockstar employees who kind of trotted out to just be like, it was fine? I mean, it's that attitude of just it's accepted as a thing that you do, that you are already buying into this when you go into this industry. You know this is going to happen.
Some people are, some people aren't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's but I do know that it is a fairly common thing.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's move on. Frank the Rabbit says, hey, guys, I recently got myself a Raspberry Pi with the European SNES case, and I'm kicking myself for not having bought one sooner. I heard Jeff rave about his one the other week. I'm wondering, what are your favorite retro games / systems on the Pi? Any OS distributions you would recommend? I'm currently running the Retro Pi one, since running retro games is all the Pi needs to do. Many thanks from Flanders, Belgium, and that's from Frank the Rabbit. And he says, P.S. That Puppet Theater video is awesome. More of those. Okay, great.
I am not the one to ask about this question. I have a Pi, but I've never used it for RetroPie.
Oh, okay. Well, have you used it for anything else?
I used it for
Linux or something on it?
I ran to learn a little bit of Linux or Unix or whatever Linux on it. But also I was trying to kit bash it into something else that ended up not working. But also it was purchased for me.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out a way to turn it into a portable computer that I could do sound recording on the cheap.
Okay.
And it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's really not designed for that.
Not really. To be honest, Frank, I wish I could tell you more, but my Pi is a retro Pi case. That's what I have it. That's what I use it for. And you've already got the case that has one of the power on, power off buttons on it.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important thing, is having a power on, power off button. But yeah, I mean, I haven't bothered to put anything else on it because I want it for one thing, and that's playing video games on. And RetroPie is a very slick interface that's just for that. You know, it'll what do they call that? It'll scrape for the games and the art and everything, and then just put it all on there. So I haven't really used mine for anything else other than that, and I don't know shit about Linux, and so nah.
Yeah, it was back when, this was before the RetroPie thing actually became like an actual big mainstream thing. Like it was around, but it wasn't like, that wasn't the reason people went out and bought Raspberry Pis. My brother was like, no, you should totally get one of these and you learn Linux and do this other stuff. And he's like, you do so much, so he bought me one, and so I just kind of like played with it, and I was like, I wonder if I can get a good like audio recording software and like buy like a portable LCD screen. I ended up not buying the portable LCD screen because I wanted to make sure I could get the software to work. And I was like, oh, and then I could like 3D print like a case for it that had the screen built into it, and I could have it on my arm and like connect microphones to it and be all portable shit like for conventions.
Maybe Dr. Microphone.
Well, it was more like so I could go to, because this is back when I was really doing Geek Bombast more hardcore, back before it ended the first time. And I was thinking I could take it to conventions and like I wouldn't have to worry about carrying anything. I just have this thing strapped to my arm that has a microphone attached to it that I can then,
put in people's faces and
ask questions. It ended up not working. There's probably been like 4 Pi revisions since then, since that happened.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's possibly now you could probably do it, but I don't even know if that's something that's feasible anymore, and it's also something I don't need anymore. So,
okay.
Because I actually have a portable solution for.
The thing is that the Pi is interesting, and I've actually looked up a bunch of different, like, what are the builds, and like everybody does the same things, right? You can use it to run like a screen behind like a mirror, so you can make a mirror that has like a touch screen built into it. Essentially, that's pretty cool. But it's a big build. There's somebody online that does take an Altoids tin and then put the Pi in the bottom and then put a controller over it and put a screen on the top, so you have a little portable game thing. Most of it's gaming related. I mean, there's a few ways that you can use it. You can use like a media server or a streaming thing.
I've seen some people use it for controlling lights on costumes, like making it portable. Like I even saw, like back in the day, people would turn it into Pip-Boys.
Oh, right.
They would actually make like costume, and it's like actually it's just a Raspberry Pi running an OS that's literally the Pip-Boy.
Yeah.
To look like the Pip-Boy. For going to conventions or Halloween or whatever.
I saw an interesting build that was making it was like a box that had like an old school arcade joystick and the buttons on it that then ran into the bottom. It was like a big box, and in the bottom of it the Pi was mounted.
Yeah.
And then you just run the buttons down there, and then the whole thing just has the HDMI out on the front.
Yeah.
So you can just hook it up to a TV and play whatever you want to. I mean, a lot of it is that stuff. I've never really been willing to do much more. I mean, I looked around at one point, but there was nothing out there that was really so interesting that I wanted to, stop what I was using it for and switch over.
Yeah.
Kian Not Keith writes in and says, what is up, Prophets of Rage? It's Kian here. The other day I was listening to one of your older podcasts where you had Captain Sassy, a.k.a. Kevin, and the Ass Crusher, a.k.a. Nick, and I know they weren't there, and you used a Skype recording. So I was wondering what a good video call recording software would be. You see, I'm getting married in May and moving from Iowa to Las Vegas, and a few friends of mine want me on their podcast, but I don't know how that works. If you have any good tips with this stuff, please let me know. Thanks for all you do, and know that for the past 7 years, listening and watching have helped me grow as a person, both maturity-wise and creatively. I know you probably hear this a lot, but you had a huge positive influence on my life, and I'm forever grateful for that. Thanks, from Kian Not Keith. Well, you're welcome. So let's see. How did it work? There was okay, so I use SoundForge to record, but you can do this in Audacity. I think I started with Audacity actually. What you need is a okay, here's what I would do on my end, and then you can. I think that all you're going to need is a microphone. But the way that we would do it back in the loading bar and the Rage Select days was that I would record like the Skype call, and I would split the channels, right? So I would have the Skype call going into like my aux jack, and then my microphone going into my mic jack, and then I would record both of those channels at the same time. So one would be Skype, and one would be no. What it was a lot of sound cards, especially if you buy an external sound card, it'll let you record a channel called like What You Hear on your computer, so you can just record whatever the audio from your computer is. It doesn't work with a lot of sound cards. So I basically put that on the left channel, and then my microphone on the right-hand channel. And then everybody else would just record themselves in Audacity. So then what I would have was I would have my isolated channel and then this garbage channel of all the Skype stuff that I was hearing that was bad quality. And then it was usually Amanda who was doing audio editing back at that time.
Yes, it was.
Would take the recordings from Corey, Jason, Nick, Kevin, whoever, and use the Skype recording to line them all up together. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You're following. And then you delete the Skype recording, and so then you have all 5 of those as separate channels.
Yeah.
So you can edit in and out. You can pull stuff in and out.
And that's generally how most podcasts that do over Skype most do. Like I know, what was it? Back in... before G4 became Tech TV, or
right.
when it was back when it was Tech TV, before they merged and just turned everything to G4. There was the Screensavers show with Leo Laporte and a bunch of other people. That's when they would do their podcast. That's literally how they would do it.
Yeah.
Is that they would, even though they would record everything over Skype, but each person had to make their own recording of
like
just
recording,
their own local recording of their own audio, and they would, even when they get guests, they would get the guests to do this exact same thing,
right?
And then they would get all the files, and then they would basically sync them all up and
you line them up.
So it's and having that Skype call recording is good because you don't know when someone's going to hit record. Someone could hit record an hour before you actually record, or someone could hit record like 2 seconds before you actually record.
Yeah,
and it helps you get.
And the other thing is that, like, it's not optimal, but if worse comes to worse and somebody loses a recording, sometimes you can use that, even though it's of a poor quality. But basically, that's what you need to do. Like, if you're moving away and your friends are the ones recording the podcast, what they're probably going to need is an external sound card. Like, that's what I've done over the years. I bought like 3 or 4 USB sound cards, because most of the time the USB sound cards will have a separate audio channel called What You Hear. Like, most Sound Blaster cards now have a channel called What You Hear, and as long as the Skype is running on your computer, as long as that's one channel and then your voice is on another channel, you're good to go. Then everybody else can just record it separately. So hope that helps, Ken, not Keith. I hope that makes sense. I know, John, you and I both have, I think, a fair amount of experience working with this stuff. So
yeah, no, it all makes sense to me. I mean, that's why it made that. I mean, I assume it makes sense because it makes sense to me.
Anyway, let's take some Discord questions.
Okay.
Let's see. Jonathan Scratch talks about a thing that I don't have any idea what it is. Says, "Yo, Jeff and Matt, Silent John, I've got an awesome idea to run by you. Rage 2's big thing right now seems to be commentary, quote-unquote, cheat codes featuring various semi-famous people. Who do we have to hold hostage to get a Rage 2 Rage Select commentary cheat code? I would love to play through Rage 2 and have Jeff shouting, 'Shoot him with your gun bullets!' I mean, Christ on PCP, there's even synergy with the name Rage Select. It's too perfect. Why stop with Jeff? Matt Frank could make kaiju references when the big enemies show up. Amanda could throw some wicked burns whenever you die or fuck up. And John could swing in with positive affirmations to balance that out. Make a crazy jump on foot or in vehicle. Boom. Michael with either an obscure anime reference or Spider-Man joke. What do you say? Should we call up id and Bethesda and start some talks, or should I maybe just stop doing cocaine?"
I say if you know someone at id.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I my biggest problem is that I feel like I call up or send an email to id and they'll be like, "Who?" It's like at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just
We're
like,
Rage Select. Who?
Rage Select, man.
Come on, man.
I don't even really know. Are people just doing like, so famous YouTubers are just providing like voice lines that can then be like DLC added into the game, I guess.
So it's not like YouTubers. I mean, as far as I know, it's mainly like, I know they have one that's a cheat code where you can do it and it adds the guy that does like NBA Jam. and also is the voice in Mutant Football League. He does he'll add boom shakalaka. Oh, his head flew way off, and things like that. And I think they also have some other. There might be some YouTube people part of it, but it's different codes to do different things. That's the only one I know about is the NBA Jam announcer.
Okay.
Which is funny because when I heard the voice, I was like, "That's the guy from Mutant Football League," and I'm like, "Who was also the guy in NBA Jam?" That's right. No, I know who that. Kind of yeah. My brain goes to a weird place as opposed to everybody else's.
I just don't think that we have enough clout. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, of course we don't.
We're so tiny. We're the teeny tiny
but
YouTube channel.
If
you know someone, hey,
and they sent an email to Jeff saying, "Hey, legit from id, we want to do this."
I do whatever. I'll come shine your shoes.
It's because we totally what do you need from us? Where do you need us to go? And if you just want one person, obviously it's going to be Jeff. If you want all of us,
sure.
I'm down.
Yeah, John does voices. Listen to that Phoenix Wright video, man. He got a million voices. I got one voice. So, yeah, I don't know. Jonathan Scratch, you know somebody? Let's see. Blau79 says, when I listen to the Let's Plays or the podcast, I cannot tell the difference between John, Joe, and Michael. They all sound the same. Is it possible they're all the same person, or are they different people like Jeff and Puppet Jeff? For real, though, as someone with a hearing impairment, they all sound the same.
So I think this is the reason for that, and it's and I apologize. I feel like Michael and Joe do not sound the same.
Okay.
But I think Michael is a little bit more higher pitch, and Joe is a little bit more baritone.
Okay.
I am somewhere in between, and I sometimes fluctuate my voice because this is something I used to do back on Geek Bombast because we had that complaint that people couldn't tell the difference between mine, Michael, and Rod's voice.
Okay.
Way back in the day. So depending on who I had, I would pitch my voice up. If it was just me and Michael, I would pitch my voice down. If it was just me and Rod, I would but not enough that it was noticeable.
Sure.
So now I feel like I do it regularly. And so sometimes I tend to sound like a little bit low tone like Joe, and then sometimes I get a little bit more, a little bit more not low tone, a little bit more higher pitch, but not high pitch, but a little bit where I'm sounding a little bit more like Michael, and so it's kind of this weird thing where people just assume we all three sound the same because I do this weird thing where my voice will fluctuate. Where sometimes I'll be talking and my voice will be a little bit down here and things like that, and other times I'll be talking and I'll be up here and just talking about other things a little bit higher. I apologize.
Well. So here's that makes
but
a lot of sense.
But I also admit I have a voice that sounds like other people's voices.
Michael and Joe also both kind of have a bit of a deadpan. They don't move around a whole shitload, right? They don't go all the way up and then all the way down.
Yeah, they are a little bit more
median person voice, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me. See,
we are definitely three completely different people.
Blau, I could tell you right now that
personalities and everything.
It's harder for me to sympathize with you because I look at all of you guys when we're recording, so it's very difficult. It's not like there's an isolation booth where the co-host goes.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know either. Sorry,
I
Blau.
apologize. I take full responsibility for it, even if I'm not fully responsible.
Okay, good. I got some other stuff you could take responsibility for.
No, just that. Everything else is still your fault.
Oh, damn it, son of a bitch. Kate Josie writes in and says, Jeff, Corey posted a video of how he sometimes feels trapped in his show because of some people's reactions and constant questions over co-host changes and location changes. He mentioned that he has a hard time having fun doing something that he loves because of it. Does this resonate with you? I hope not. But if it does, do what you need to do to feel better and know that your rabid fan base and I will completely understand. So, where to start with this? The thing is that there was one hurdle. And that was when Jason decided that he couldn't do it on the reg anymore, right? When Rage Select started, it was just Jason and I every video, every week, and the podcast. I mean, Even before we started doing the Patreon videos, it was 7 days and a 2-hour podcast with Jason and Jeff. Like, I'm surprised that he lasted as long as he did. And so when that first happened, I think that a lot of YouTube, I would get a little down because you'd have a lot of people that were just like, well, if Jason Murphy isn't here, well then fuck you, and I'm leaving. And it was like, but we got funny. I got all these people and they're great. Like, look at all these people. They're so great. Like, I love all my co-hosts, man. I love all of them. Like, there's not a person that's been a co-host on Rage Select that I haven't liked. But, I feel like the difference is that we've changed a lot over the years. Yeah. Like, we've had a lot of different co-hosts and a lot of different people who have come in and then they get tired and then they leave or they move away or they got different priorities or, they have babies or whatnot. And so, I look around and we try to find some new folks to come in and help out and do stuff. As far as the having fun things goes, I mean, that's kind of a rough question. Like, it's not like if I wasn't doing Rage Select, I'd be skipping down the road with flowers in my hair, talking about how much I loved life. I'm not that cheery in the first place. I'm not exactly.
I can confirm this.
I'm not exactly like a sunshine and roses, like hippy dippy. Hey man, it's all gonna be great, like kind of guy when I'm not recording Rage Select. So I get down from time to time, and it. I get sad. I do feel though I was really kind of hitting a breaking point before, it was like 2 years ago when I started doing work for Brian Brushwood. And I guess I was kind of getting to this point where I was like, fuck this. I want to go work for somebody else. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of being held personally responsible for every single thing that goes wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And then I remembered what it was like to work for somebody else and not to play video games and make fart jokes with a puppet with your friends for a living. And I was like, oh, right. Oh, no, I want to go back to making the fart jokes immediately. I will play every JRPG that comes out if I could just work for myself and not that I had a bad time. It's just, it's different when you and your friends just make some fart jokes as opposed to having to meet somebody else's deadline or do something else. I don't know. There's a more personal stake in it.
So I apologize. When you first asked the question, I actually got a very text that I was reading. What was the actual question?
What do you mean?
That was being asked.
Okay.
I got the gist of what you were talking about because of what you were saying.
Right.
But I actually missed the question because on my phone I got a text that was a little. I don't normally do that, but it was actually something I needed to read and respond to.
Fair enough. No, it just said that Corey posted a video about how he sometimes feels trapped in his show because of some people's reactions and constant questions over co-host changes, location changes. He mentioned he has a hard time doing something that he loves because of it. Does this resonate with you? I hope not.
Yeah, no, I can understand some of those. Like, I can understand it. It doesn't. I don't think it would. I mean, as far as with me, I don't think it resonates 100% with me, but it does. I totally understand it. I've been there. I mean, that's with for example, Geek Bombast. The reason it ended the last time is because I just wasn't having fun.
Yeah.
And I had to really look at it and go, because people were busy and I didn't have anyone to replace those people that were busy with their own shit.
Right.
So it was very much like, well, I guess I'm just going to stop this. I'm still doing Rage Select, so I'll still have an internet presence of some kind. So, I'll go do Rage Select. And then I wanted to do Geek Bombast again and, started it up again and had to stop due to outside stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully coming back with it soon, but not anytime, but not right away. But I can sort of understand it, but I don't understand the feeling trapped, I guess. I mean, maybe if it was something where people were paying me specifically to make that one thing and it was only me, then I would feel trapped because it's that whole thing of, well, they're paying for this thing that I'm doing and I'm not enjoying doing it anymore. Or maybe I want the ability to do something that's a little different, and anytime, and you don't want to not give them the thing that they're already paying for. Right. And then what happens if you make a drastic change for creative purposes or because of not even creative purposes, logistical reasons, because a co-host can't do it anymore, and you have to, and because that person is not there, it just won't work the way it used to, and you have to change it.
Sure.
Otherwise, you can't continue. What you kind of feel bad because then people get upset about that, and those are the people that are paying you to do the thing that you're doing. So I do kind of get it, but because I'm not actually being paid in the things that I'm doing outside of my actual job, I guess I'm not as
you don't feel as beholden.
But then again, like I said, I'm pretty sure this was more of a question for you, and I'm just kind of
no. That's fine. I mean, the thing is that everything that you say, I resonate a lot with that as well. Like my answer initially was the biggest hurdle for that was with Jason.
Yeah,
because there were so many people that were big Jason Murphy fans that I know there are a lot of people that love Jason and think Jeff's a fucking idiot, and so like there was a real psychically difficult time when Jason had to pull back, and then when he had to kind of just pull entirely out, where there was a drop in hits.
Yeah,
and there were a lot of people that were complaining, and it's so frustrating because it's like, guys, I can't, like, Jason is welcome. I mean, I've always told people whenever anybody is like, wear it about somebody, and I'm like, everybody's welcome. Like, I haven't had a fight with anybody, right? I'll ping, Grant and Brian Salisbury and people like that from time to time. And, a lot of times they're doing their own thing, right? They've got their own thing going on, and they're just like, I'm sorry, dude, I can't. I have children, or I'm out of town, or I'm doing this thing, and
but even to kind of go off as someone from while I may not have been on the site since Rage Select's inception, I have been around the site. Like, I've been privy to a lot of it. Like, I even remember when you came up with the name Rage Select, and you were like, I don't know if it really works, and like me and one other person were like, no, it works.
Right.
Here's why it works. It's such a good name. You should use it. And you're like, I don't know. I think I need something better. I think this is garbage. What does it even mean? And, like, mind you, this was like many, many conversations, and then it was never an indication that it wasn't going to be Rage Select. It was more just me and another person just confirming to Jeff that he is.
I never had to name a thing before.
No, exactly.
Come up with a brand name.
Yeah, and it's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why we were like, no, it is very hard to come up. You have come up with a perfect thing. But aside from that, like, I've been there since watching. When I remember when Jason maybe not fully stepped away, but partially stepped away, and Grant came in.
Mm-hmm.
And when Grant first came in, people fucking hated him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were people who were like, oh, I remember Grant from this thing. I love Grant. Grant's great. And then there were other people who were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yep.
And then over time, people were like, yay, Grant.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then, when Grant kind of had to step back and other people came in, there were people who were like, who the fuck is this person?
Yep.
And fuck this person. Then slowly over time won them over. It's
the thing is that for me, it's something that I've had to go through so often that, there have been times when new folks have come to record with me on Rage Select, and I've been like, okay, so just don't read the comments, and because they're not gonna, or they're not gonna like you, and but then I like to tell a lot of people, it's like, you know what, they don't like me, and it's my website, and I've been on every video for 6 years, and they're just like, fuck you, Jeff, and I'm like, why are you here? Why are you watching the Jeff show starring Jeff and his friends when you hate Jeff so much?
Yeah, and it's fun because, like, I know, like, it's funny because I think, Jeff is always like, don't read the comments, don't do this. Me, I'm off on the side going, this guy just called me a tool. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Jeff, look at this idiot. Or, oh, this person's hilarious because he's trying to make fun of me, and it's just funny. But that's
yeah. But in any case, I think it's very different for Corey because because he has such a Corey's more charismatic than I am. I know that. I mean, like, that's just the thing. Corey Coleman is full of fucking charisma. But
he rolls 20s when it comes to charisma.
Yeah, but I mean, he had such a long. I mean, it would be like if Jason and I had been doing Rage Select for 6 years, and then we ended Rage Select and started up a new project, and it was just me without Jason. I mean, I feel like the movie stuff on Spill was so had been going on for so long, and it was so established that the idea of the kind of splitting people up and the idea of bringing in new people. I mean, like, not to get too insidery baseball, right? But like there was a woman, not his wife, but there was like another woman that he had early on in the Double Toasted time period. It was like a blonde lady or something like that. I don't really know that much about Double Toasted.
Yeah, I've never watched Double Toasted, so I don't know.
And it was, I think, at their 1 year celebration where they were up on the stage. It was like one of the bars or whatever, and they were live streaming it. And Tony, co-host, was there. Tony, I know it was Tony. But Tony was there, and Corey had him come up and just talk for a few minutes and invited him to sit. Tony. Tony's got his own thing going on, right? Tony's doing his own thing. And there was something about like that lady didn't properly acknowledge that was co-host 3000 and that she wasn't appropriately awed, or that she was kind of snooty about it, about having just this random guy come up on stage that was a friend of Corey's. And like, God, the audience was just all over it, like in a way that I've never seen them be all over me, you know? And I guess that's where I am, is that I've kind of passed the Rubicon of, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's the opposite direction for me, where people are just like, Jeff, you should do a different show. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think I should just play every video game that comes out.
But Jeff, we really want to see you cook with the fucking the Instapot. Teach us how to cook with an Instapot.
I think I should probably just keep playing every dumb video game that comes out. I mean, like the puppet 6-minute puppet video that I put up today represents like one of the most dramatically different things I've ever done. You know, we're going to have the Labo videos that are all live action that is going to be something completely different. But like, it's the opposite for me. It's not that I want to do new stuff. It's that people are like, you should do the things that are popular on YouTube. And I'm like, I don't know. What if they all hate it? What if they all unsubscribe? And it's like, well, yeah. So that's my problem. It's not that I feel trapped. It's that I'm happy inside of my little cage. I don't want to go outside. It's cold out there, and the sun is
wolves.
out. Yeah. So anyway, let's see if we can rip through a few more of these. Spider Mike X writes, "Dear Rage Select, why is your co-host so handsome and intelligent?"
Well, I thank you, Michael Riojas. I didn't know you felt this way, but thank you for the
it's the brand new
compliment.
The brand new Rage Select ship, right? It's the John and Michael, Jamichael. Mon. I don't know which one is worse.
Yeah. I'd like to think that, again, in much the way that my voice is the bridge that bridges Joe and Michael together, I'd like to think that I'm also the person who bridges personalities between Matt and Michael as well.
Oh yeah,
like that I'm somewhere.
You're the
between.
glue that holds Matt and Michael together.
Yeah.
It's like an MJM sandwich.
Yeah, put that in your ships. Yeah.
Dr. Frosty says, Jeff, how do you feel about people who are also named Jeff, but they spell it Geoff? I feel like they aren't real Jeffs. They don't know what's going on. J is a great letter. It needs to be used more often. G is just some boring shit. What is it? Turns into different things. Guh. What kind of a dumb sound is that? Juh. That's a classy sound. Mike says, greetings to you, Rage Select. Greetings to you, the Selected Two. I've been sinking some time into Parkitect recently, a spiritual successor to the first two Roller Coaster Tycoon games. If you were to make a Tycoon-style game based on something in your lives, what would it be?
On something in my life?
I got like 3 things in my life.
Yeah.
The home cooking tycoon, walk the dog tycoon, let's play tycoon, and drink beer tycoon.
And I think Let's Play Tycoon is a thing that actually exists.
I think there's like a YouTuber.
PewDiePie made it. Or funded it.
I think I played one with Sarah a long time ago. Speaking of old co-hosts, that was like a.
And I know there's a Game Dev Tycoon, which is actually a really fun game. I really like that game.
Yep, I like making up my own games.
And then I'm trying to think of what other type of tycoon game would be fun.
Not much of a tycoon.
Yeah.
Dog walking tycoon. You know what? Fuck it. Make it Jeff Tycoon. It's all about Jeff. It'll start in a 1-bedroom apartment, working for somebody else and going to school, and you got to build your way up.
Well, that's just a sim game.
Until you live in a... It's just The Sims. That's what the game is. It's just The Sims, but with me. It's about one sim. It's called
Jeff Simulator 3000.
The Sim, period. And there's just one, and it's just me, and all you can do is make him live my life. If you try to do anything different, he dies within a day. He just fucks it up. But you got to figure it out. It'll be like the Dark Souls of Sims games, right? Where it's like, oh, did you try to go on a date? You died.
Well, I feel like people would just be finding new and interesting ways to make Jeff die. That would be.
They'll be jumping up against the wall until they manage to hack through they'll be speed running to the end of Jeff Simulator. Yeah, that's it. Do you have any more Tycoon game ideas?
I was trying to think of what a good one, but I don't really know.
Like, the problem is that based on your life is not. I don't really do anything that can be considered. I can see though where it might be fun if you had one of those Tycoon style games to maybe have one that was like running like an IKEA, because you could have all kinds of like crazy different furnitures and stuff that you could name.
It already exists.
He's got an idea.
No, it's not an idea. It already exists, but I just want a sequel to it, and I've said it before. I want a sequel to the movies, goddammit.
Yeah, you do.
Which is a movie, studio tycoon game.
Right. Except that you can actually output the movies that you make.
Yeah, you can actually make trailers for the movies and stuff like that. Like someone get the rights from Lionhead or Microsoft or Microsoft. Fucking make a new one if you have the rights.
Yeah. I've been seeing some good copy on Dreams. Maybe you want to go up against Dreams with the movie studio, the movies too. Dan K says if you could time travel, but it was restricted only to concerts, what concert would you send yourself into the past to see? I've always wanted to see the Wu-Tang Clan right when 36 Chambers dropped. So you can only go to
not bad.
Past concerts.
You can only time travel to previous concerts.
I'd really like to see the Beatles' final live show when they were on top of the studios or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Pretty cool. Does Jesus' sermon count as is that a concert? It's like an old timey concert, right? There wasn't any music.
Yeah, I don't know.
Woodstock. I mean,
Yeah, probably Woodstock.
Pretty popular. I don't know if I was going to use it. I'd obviously use it for something iconic.
I'd probably go to like what is it? The one of the concerts from Queen.
Yeah.
Or even like David Bowie, like old school, like in their prime, like right as
Yeah.
Whatever you consider their prime, like that's
probably pick somebody and like find that just ramping up, like just when they started to have some hit phases, but when they were starting to get popular, so you could still see them in a relatively decent venue. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of a concert goer anymore either. I know you go to more concerts than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I go to one every now and then. Still go to my punk shows.
I also I don't even listen to music all that much anymore. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. And let's see, John N7 says, for a while now, analysts and gamers have speculated that eventually gaming will become a digital-only market. Now that we are about to have a digital-only Xbox console being released, it seems to be a definite foreshadowing on the future of gaming. Sure, disc-based games will still be relevant for at least another generation, but it seems it's inevitable for digital to be the sole method of gaming. Are you looking forward to this, or do you prefer to always have a physical copy? Well, you said earlier that you do pretty much entirely digital these days, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like you're I feel like the analysts are there. Like I feel like you're going to an all digital. It's again, I've said it before. That's where the industry is going. Steam on if you look at PC games, let's look at PC games just alone.
Yeah.
Who the fuck releases physical copies of PC games? There are some. Don't get me wrong.
It's a vanity thing, though.
But yeah, it's purely a vanity thing. No one fucking releases physical media for PC anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only of course consoles are going to go that way. But as a consumer, do I want it to go away? It's like there's a part of me that's like no, because I do like physical media. Obviously, as we've talked about before, physical media allows you to loan it out to your friends. Also, physical media makes it so that any past, if it's backwards compatible, it allows you to be able to access some of that stuff through.
Oh yeah,
like on the Xbox One. if I have a physical copy of a game that is backwards compatible from the Xbox 360 or even the original Xbox, I can put that CD in the console and it'll let me play that game.
Right.
Now, mind you, it has to download the entirety of the game from the internet.
Yeah.
And then basically that disc basically tells it, yes, you can play all this information that you've had to download from the internet. But, it allows me to at least be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I like physical media because you can't take that away from me. Like if, let's say servers shut down or I have no internet access to validate my game or to stream my game over the internet, I still have my physical disc that I can pop in, install from, as long as I have that specific console that it's for, I have that disc that I can pop in and install and play right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Minus a few games that require major updates for whatever fucking reason, like Halo Master Chief Collection. But with digital, yeah, I own those. Technically, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, there were games that I bought back on Live I'll never see again because that service doesn't really exist anymore.
Oh, the Wii store? The 3DS store? DDS store? I mean, none of that stuff was tied to a login ID, so it's not like you could even go, I mean, your DS breaks, what are you going to pay for that to get fixed? Or
yeah, I mean, like those, like if I still have those consoles, I can, if assuming the data's still on there, I can play them, but if I have to re-download it, it's gone.
The thing that I always come back to is, let's go back to a previous question, is you know what? I don't own a Sega Genesis, a Master System, a Super Nintendo, a Nintendo, a Game Boy, but I do have a RetroPie. I mean, MAME, like, arcade games were never available for you, or I mean, there were home releases of arcade games, but like, there were games in the arcade that were not available as a home release that you technically didn't have access to. Like, so the thing is that I definitely understand what the counter arguments against digital only are. 100%.
Yeah.
It's just that I feel like a lot of the times, though, those arguments don't take into account the fact that there have always been games that have been either difficult to acquire or, I mean, are you going to really tell me that if you want to play a 3DO game, you're going to go try to find a working 3DO on eBay and then buy physical copies of 3DO games? Like, no, you're not. You're going to download an emulator. You're going to download, or if there's a collection or something like that.
You would look for either a console, a more recent console re-release of that game.
Right.
In my case, yes, I would actually go buy a 3DO, and then buy a physical media copy of that game. But that's me.
Right.
That's not everyone. I understand not everyone's going to do that. But that's also that's why I never consider RetroPie or gaming to be a valid thing, because I don't. Like, the only ROMs I've ever downloaded are games I actually physically own.
Sure.
Like I've downloaded the ROM for a couple of Japanese games that I have because I physically own those Japanese games, but the ROMs I downloaded are hacked to be in English.
Right.
And
yes, John, you're an upstanding citizen.
no, but it's just, is that technically illegal? Yes, it is technically illegal. What I'm doing. But it's but at the same time, I don't know.
The thing that I get back to is that a lot of this stuff is going to be archived. That they will find a way. People that are interested in archiving this stuff will find a way to archive it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And those are going to be the people that we're going to have to rely on, right? Because if a game company stops offering things, or if they shut down, I mean, we just had a story. What was it, 2 months ago, where the Wii store is shut down or whatever. So if you. I don't even know, can you still download stuff that you bought? Or like once they shut it down, was it just shut down and you just can't get it anymore?
I think it was shut down, you just can't get it anymore.
So, if your Wii ever breaks.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. It's something that we're definitely going to have to look at. But then let us also not pretend like consoles didn't get damaged, CDs didn't get scratched, and that there were ways to lose stuff in the past.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. And when I'm saying this, I'm not saying I'm against a digital-only era of gaming. Like I said, I have the being as in the industry as I am and familiar with the industry as I am, I know that's where it's going.
Right.
There's nothing we can do about that. It's going that way. And I'm at a point where I'm like not as upset as I might have been like maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because within the last 2 years, I've actually bought more digital games, and I mainly just use the disc drives on both of my consoles as DVD and Blu-ray players.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I typically don't buy games anymore physical because it's more of a, I don't want to have to get up, take a disc out, put a disc in.
Sure.
Then decide I want to. It's a convenience thing, and I understand that that's where it's going to go, and I'm not as upset if and when it comes, and I think it'll be okay. There is some aspect of, well, there's cons to it. I know the cons, I understand the cons, but there's also pros as well, and and I know that that's where the industry's going, so I'm okay if that's what happens. But there are some issues that I do have with it, even if I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's going to be our show. Thanks, everybody, for writing in.
Yes. You're all pretty cool.
I'll write in your questions. Mail at rageselect.com. We always need questions every week. So if you think of a question, if you're just like, what if I asked the Rage Select podcast about this? And then you sent that question to mail at rageselect.com, we will answer it. Let's see, John, are we doing, do you want to do some promotion? Or?
Nah, I don't need to do it right now.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the mail at rageselect.com is email address, and if you all will go, excuse me, I got to play the Joker in Smash Brothers for another 40 hours. Oh, wait, no, I've got to edit videos for another 40 hours. Shit, it was the wrong thing!